Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CCA League. We have a triple header for you all to jump on into on this wonderful Sunday afternoon evening. I am DRF, joined by my co-commentator today, Mizuno, and I mean, this is the first triple header that we've had, Mizuno.
I'm so excited. This is gonna beat out Sunday Night Football. We're gonna beat out their numbers. It's gonna be great. And we're already jumping right into it. Game 1 between MSU versus the Husky Splatsville Knights. So this is a Div 1 matchup, DRF. So there are a lot of high stakes going into this matchup.
Oh, absolutely. All sorts of stakes to consider here as these teams are fighting for some playoff positioning here. Very crucial matchup. Taking a look as we jump right into Rainmaker on Sturgeon Shipyard. It looks like we're getting some pretty standard comps out of both teams. I think the most notable adjustment here from what we've seen all season so far is Nick actually starting out with that blaster.
I also have to point out the squeezer on the side of MSU. That was a very fun pick, like a squeezer rapid combo. So I'm assuming they're going to be looking to hit some of those key high points, such as the opponent spinner or the opponent top left. But I think they compromise with some paint pressure.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. It's a pretty interesting comp indeed, and we have seen this actually run from Michigan State a couple of times this season so far. Meanwhile, UW running their very traditional comp as well, led by Ollie on that bamboo. Best known for being part of 20 Pew Pew, that all Bamboozler team. And we're going to see if that pays off for them. And it looks like it's going to early on. That's going to be 3 down on the side of Michigan State. This will be an opportunity now for the Huskies of University of Washington to pick up this Rainmaker and grab the quick lead here. And we've seen this map mode before, Mizuno, and it has resulted in some very low-scoring games. Is that going to be the case again today?
We might see that. I mean, these teams are vying for just constant map positioning, and with the consistent trades and back and forth, I'm anticipating going to be kind of a slow start until both these teams kind of find their footing. I mean, you just saw the Knights, even with a 3-down situation against MSU, they didn't even pick up the Rainmaker. They were still biding time. Now on the flip side here, we're kind of seeing MSU taking the initiative and finally making that first leap onto the left side and hoping to get that first checkpoint down.
And the first checkpoint will fall indeed, but so will 3 of their members. So this push is over, as this is Sand that's backing all the way up to mid with that Tri-Slosher, looking to get a nice pick there. It's going to find 1. Can they get the second? It looks like it's not going to be the case quite yet. They will get the second, though, as they fall, and that's going to do a huge favor for their teammates as they continue to spawn in here. They will maintain the numbers advantage, and that's going to be a delayed 3 down on the side of the University of Washington.
Great stalling on the side of MSU from Sand. You think with the poor positioning that the Tri had against the Rapid, against the K shot, but it's just really, they were able to really take advantage of the Tri's use of the Arch and were able to get those 2 crucial kills. Now that MSU is back on track, we have a 4-up situation against both teams. Now MSU is down to 3. It looks like the Knights are getting aggressive with that Tri-Strike also coming out on the spinner, and you see a lot of blue on this map, DRF, as 2 members of MSU go down.
And this should be a free checkpoint here. Michigan State not really in a position to defend this one at this time. And if University of Washington can hold this position, they should be able to grab an easy lead here. Yes, they will. It's only going to be 2 points, but that is enough for now. We've seen this game continue to be low scoring throughout this season, and 53 very well could be a winning push.
Right, exactly, and that was a really fortunate grab on the side of the Knights. They didn't even get off the podium fully. You see the Rainmaker still chilling on the podium as if it never left the checkpoint. So, I mean, like you said, those 2 points will matter, but the Knights have been quickly chased out of that podium and out of that checkpoint. And with 1 member down on each side, MSU was looking for a chance to respond back with only a minute left in this match.
Yeah, and they are slowly running out of time, as you have said. University of Washington doing a fantastic job of holding position, but that's going to be everyone going down with the exception of Ollie. Ollie, though, one of the most crucial pieces for University of Washington, is going to try to solo stop this push, able to find a double. Can they get the third? No, their teammate will come in and clean that one up, but that's going to effectively end this push for now, as it's just the squeezer left on the side of Michigan State. Michigan State, though, will respond by getting that pick on Ollie, a crucial piece for University of Washington, and this Rainmaker will reset, and both of these teams are not going to give this up so easily.
Fantastic defensive stop from Ollie, being the last member alive, hoping to stand their ground. I mean, that was just great positioning and map awareness, and just figuring out where MSU was going to take the Rainmaker. One down on each side. The inkjet comes up for MSU along with the tri-strike. There's a lot of orange on the ground, but still the Rainmaker is still stuck past the podium, and 2 are down on each side. Is the Rainmaker gonna pop? We don't know, as the clock comes down to 0 and the shield doesn't get popped.
Wow, what a start to this set. A 2-point difference between these two teams, as it's the Husky Splatsville Knights of the University of Washington taking game number 1 in this crucial best of 7 set.
It literally came down to that pick on the podium, literally just moving it 2 points over, not even leaving the podium, to get the lead and secure it for the rest of the game. And then, of course, Ollie's clutch picks on MSU's Rainmaker, as they were trying to desperately sprint for it in the middle of Platt in hopes of just gaining just 1 point ahead. Oh, DRF, we are in for a great matchup. This was a very competitive matchup that these Div 1 teams bring, and that is what experience also brings to the table.
Oh, absolutely. Experience has been very well on display here. The Michigan State team, CCA Season 1 veterans, so they know what's up. They had a dominant effort in Season 1, going 5-0 in the regular season and not dropping more than a single game every single set across best of 7s there. And now they are in the big leagues, Division 1, trying to hold their own against the University of Washington here, who is a group of newcomers to the CCA, but a couple of their players have plenty of experience as well, and that is what's continuing to hold them in these strong positions, as we saw in game number 1 there, to hold off Michigan State's efforts and grab game 1.
Right, and just I think, again, like you said, with experience that these teams bring to the table, these matches are going to be so much more intense, because these players have practiced with each other and know how to play a teamwork, coordination mindset. And just by that game 1, you already saw how intense it was and how crucial that they knew and understand where to bring that objective to. But anyways, round 2, we are moving into Zone's Inkbot Art Academy. So a Splatoon 2 map returns, and we see a couple of comp changes, including an E-leader on the side of MSU.
Yeah, and this is really Nick's true main as far as I'm aware. And a beautiful snipe to start this one off for Nick. I love this pick over the Blaster here. The Blaster can do an excellent job with those ledges, but the E-leader just has so much range, and it's going to do wonders for them, especially with this bamboo that's going to continue to cause them issues. Jay, just if you could just outrange them, that's going to help make those troubles go away.
Right, but the key for the Knights is to ensure that Nick is down. That is going to cause a lot of problems for the Knights, and that great pick there, utilizing the Trizuka, was crucial for the Knights to regain that zone. Now you see Nick on top of the foot there, struggling to gain control of that top tower in the zone, and you already see the timer winding down to 55, and the zone is now under contention. 3 go down in a staggered semi-wipe on the side of the Knights, and MSU is back in the game.
They are, but as soon as that happens, they do find themselves in a 2-down situation. They're just going to hold on to the zone as long as possible to close that lead, and it's going to quickly exchange back over to the Knights. And now it's going to go neutral once again, back and forth. These teams continue to be, and that's going to be 3 down on the side of the University of Washington. So this should be a zone flip once again, but Ollie doing everything in their power to hold on to this in a neutral state, and it's being successful so far. Finally, it looks like Sam's going to get over there to shut that down, and this is going to open the gates for Michigan State. If they could just find one more as well, they will have the Huskies completely staggered.
The key here for both of these teams is to win these 1v1 fights and to not die on the zone. Time and time again, you see the zone flipped whenever a member goes down in the zone. There was the domino effect just right there. 2 people dying on top of that tower in top of the zone is just a catalyst for a zone flip change. And now with the Knights back in the driver's seat here, we already see MSU on the back foot again, stuck in plat, and we're gonna have to do this same song and dance again and try to take back the zone.
Yeah, and with the penalty gone, there's starting to be less and less room for effort. That bubble are gonna actually do a pretty good job of providing Nick some coverage, hopefully to get a couple of snipes here. But the University of Washington players are doing a fantastic job of staying out of Nick's sight, and that's what's led them to this extended push that we are now seeing. And this clock is ticking away. They are within knockouts reach at this point, and there's just not enough paint going down on this zone right now for MSU. That's going to be the Charger going down as well. They're going to make a last-ditch effort to flip this zone, but they need it now. Yes, they'll get it, and this game will go on for another couple minutes.
You rightfully pointed out exactly how the Knights were able to get their timer down to 4 points left. It was the fact that the junior was able to keep painting the zone under their color while avoiding the sight lines of the E-leader. And the teammates doing a great job exerting pressure, not only on the E-leader, but onto the rest of the Knights here. Now, again, MSU was just down to the E-leader, and here comes the Booyah already pushing the E-leader back, all the way back over to the beanbag area, and the Splatling is already trying to take control of their plat. MSU is down to the final penalty points here. They only got 1 push left, possibly, to get back into this game.
They do get the 1 pick on the splatter shot there, which should help them, but Ender gonna extend just beyond that bubble, and that's gonna put them in harm's way. This is now gonna be a huge last-ditch effort for Michigan State, but I think it's gonna be too little, too late, and the Husky Splatsville Knights will win game 2.
Wow, you would think that with that E-leader pressure, the Knights were gonna be on the back foot, constantly fighting back. But what they did was that they never allowed the chance for MSU's E-leader to sit comfortably on top of the zone like that. There was never a true opportunity, except maybe once at the start of the match. But they did a fantastic job at completely walling out the E-leader, and that was, I think, one of the key factors as to how they were able to win that match.
Yeah, and, you know, you pointed out. I will say that I did say at the beginning of that game, I love that Nick switched that E-leader. I still think that that was probably the right decision there. I think that that's going to help Michigan State tremendously moving forward if that's something that they continue to stick with, especially looking forward to Eel Tail Alley tower control. I think that the range of the E-leader will be so helpful. The blaster, maybe on this map can help work around those many corners that this map does have. But I think that range just has to kind of be their best friend, especially dealing with a player with as much experience as Ollie has.
I completely agree as well, although I won't be surprised if we see a couple of sloshing machines being whipped out here for this one. All right,
there's
game
one.
3. There's one. Did we see another? No, we don't. 3 guns and an E-leader on the side of MSU. The Knights with, I believe the machine was the only true change here. So fairly similar comp matchups here. Ollie and Barry on the side of the Knights still wielding the Splatling Bamboo combo, which has surprisingly strong paint output, I believe. Not to mention with the support of the splatter shot. I really actually enjoyed this composition that they're bringing.
Yeah, it's interesting indeed, and wow, it is already paying dividends here, as it's going to be the Huskies getting 3 down on the side of Michigan State. They are trying to make a statement early on, momentum entirely in their favor after those last 2 games, and Michigan State looking for a response, already laying that first checkpoint fall, although that is probably one of the easiest checkpoints in all of the Splatoon series to get through. But that's going to be the second checkpoint, most importantly, that's falling as well, and Michigan State already reeling on the back foot.
Man, the Husky Knights are just barreling through these checkpoints, not allowing MSU a moment to breathe. MSU going down one by one, staggering, and their respawns, and all of a sudden, I think that game was not even a minute long. The Husky Splatsville Knights taking the tower 100-0 without a single moment of rest.
A minute and 7 seconds, I believe that's what that was.
Oh my god, a fast speed run for tower control on Eeltail Alley. They almost broke the record.
I'm sure they just about did. I don't know if you can get a push faster than that. Eeltail Alley tower control just, I guess for better or worse, is a very snowbally map. If you can get control early on, it's common to see the game play out like we just saw. So that's, very unfortunate for Michigan State there, because they were already dealing with momentum going against them, and now they need to go on a very momentum-based map to try to recover that. And now find themselves in an 0-3 deficit. The Husky Splatsville Knights that have found their way through this match and are dominating so far. They are at match point. This next one, Game 4, Mahi Mahi Resort Clam Blitz, could seal the deal.
What's so interesting going into this, with this giant momentum shoving MSU against the wall here, this map is so close quarters and so chaotic. For those who weren't aware, Popgun had previously streamed a match earlier this week, and multiple people remarked at how tight this map is and how quickly the tides can turn. So with how monumentous the Knights have been, not just in this past map, but in the prior maps as well, MSU has to be prepared for an onslaught coming at them. And how they respond to that initial start, that neutral situation, is probably going to be the key for whether or not they bring out the brooms for a potential sweep. A reverse sweep, mind you.
Yeah, it's either sweep or gotta keep it going for the reverse sweep, hopefully. So, here we go. Game 4. This is for a, I guess, playoff berth, almost. We can't say that quite in confidence yet because there are some rescheduled matches that need to be played. But taking a look at the comps now, it looks like we are sticking with everybody on the same weapon as we saw in that last game.
I think people are getting into their comfort picks now, and I think everyone has kind of found their groove. MSU has definitely found their groove, taking 2 down already and starting to pick up those clams to get control of this clam economy with a ball already made and putting some pressure here. No, but the splatling from the Husky Knights takes 1 member down, so their initial push is looking to be grinding to a halt as the E leader also goes down on the side of MSU.
Yeah, and it's, wow, UW once again very quickly flipping the tide back in their favor. They have the clams for a push. Can they just get them all into one person's hands? Yes, they will. So that is the first power clam of the game. Do they have the follow-up, though? We see 2 quick clams there, but do they have more? Can they extend this push? And they'll be able to get about 5 more in, and it looks like this push might just about be over. Unless Nexus can get something in real quick here, but it looks like that is going to do it. So 1+5 to start off this push for the Huskies.
Great coordination on the side of the Husky Knights. T-Tech player, T-Tech, Splattershot, and Splatling. They just completely ran over through that ramp and just completely slaughtered MSU. I mean, it was great coordination and team play done, and I hope to see that again because that was a great starting push. This killer whale trying to put some pressure on the ramp as MSU has 2 balls now to work with on this push here.
Oh boy, and that is gonna be very detrimental for Michigan State, but it looks like they're gonna try to put together one last effort to stop these two power clams, but it's not gonna be enough. Now we are seeing both of those clams in the score all the way down to 39 remaining. Nick trying their best to clean this one up, and it looks like this push is just about over, but the damage has already been done, and now Michigan State with half the game left to keep their hopes of the playoffs alive. Wow, this is going to be an uphill battle for them.
They are really struggling to get back into their plat area. I mean, the Knights have been doing such a fantastic job of watching those ledges and catching some easy mistakes that MSU have been making during this match, kind of overextending, over peaking, kind of going in solo, not regrouping together. And I mean, it's paying dividends. 2 down on the side of MSU, make that 3 down, 4 down. That's a staggered wipe at this point. We're just, I mean, the Knights are just looking for clams at this point to exchange, and there's some miscommunication going on between the teammates here because they just have too many clams to share. A Booyah Bomb comes out, 2 go down on each side, 3 to go down. This is just a bloodbath at this point.
Oh man, this is a 1v1 now. This clam basket will close. So Michigan State continues to get stop after stop, but they have yet to convert any of these defensive possessions into a push of their own. And that's really what we need to see from them at this point. I'm not even sure the last time that they have had a clam in their possession. They really need to get the Huskies out of mid and try to utilize the range to their advantage. They have some, well-ranged weapons here to try to make that happen, but they have not found the positions to do so quite yet. And oh man, this is still not going their way. It looks like they found their way into mid though, so they could see an opportunity, but not when you're 2 down like that.
Right, there was a brief opportunity, a brief window that MSU had where 3 of the Knights were down and back in spawn, but MSU was a little bit slow and they got called out by Ollie for how slow the pacing was to recover back mid. A great snipe on the side of Nick's E-leader onto, onto Nick, sorry. But nonetheless, they're still just about finding their grounding in mid here. 2 go down on the side of the Knights, make that 3 down with another snipe, and now they are moving in. The E-leader is the farthest person up on the side of MSU, and they have got to move. There's only 30 seconds left.
Oh, and this is Michigan State's opportunity now. The power clam goes in, but they lose a member. They're going to miss the second power clam, able to get the rebound there and get it in. The bubble keeping Nick alive, but that's going to be it for this push. 20 seconds to play, and it's going to be the Spartans of Michigan State that need to build a power clam in these closing seconds. There is the power clam that they have got now, so this will go into overtime, but they are not going to have much time to get into a position to get this push going.
Right, with this overtime, they need to quickly convert it back into mid. But with 2 members down, and the ball pressure was just too much. With Nick at the end of their push going down like that, I think that was just that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for MSU. And with that, and a clean 4-0, the Husky Splatsville Knights of University of Washington take the set against MSU 4-0.
Wow. The Huskies came out swinging for this set. We saw the two teams very close, almost equivalent in that game 1, but I think that just losing the lead in the second half of that game for Michigan State would end up just being too much to overcome there. I think they needed that first game win under their belts to build up that momentum, to get a little bit more comfortable, and they just never found their footing. And it's unfortunate that this is now going to go down as a sweep in the record books, but in true CCA fashion, it looks like we're going to get a play all 7 for y'all here tonight.
Yes, the CCA tradition still stays strong even as we are in season 2 of our league, and with 60 teams, many players have found to share this tradition where even after a set is over, if there are still some games to be left in the set, the teams will continue the set on unofficially off the books as a kind of a way to, have some fun, practice some games, kind of feel it out for a bit. And it's a really great tradition that I'm glad we're still able to see to this day.
Oh, absolutely. And Michigan State was certainly a part of that last season as well. So love to always see it here. A great display of sportsmanship and a great way to get to know your competitors a little bit and get some good practice in. I think these two teams are still pretty evenly matched despite what the scoreboard is telling us.
Right, not only that, but as viewers and as commentators, we get more games. I mean, who doesn't want more Splatoon?
Oh man, yeah, I don't know anyone that doesn't like more Splatoon. Early on though, we are seeing it that 30 seconds into the game, first cap of the zone will go the way of the Huskies. It's going to be Michigan State that's struggling to maintain position here, and Scorch Gorge Splat Zones. I honestly dislike this map mode. This is just like Kelp Dome on steroids. It feels like it's so difficult to cap this zone.
Right, it reminds me a lot of ink blot zones. You kind of have a similar composition with a giant block, a tower in the middle of the zone to utilize as, you know, a place for the backlines to go. You have kind of different entry points for your opponents to kind of come back into. But I think even with the elevated heights that the opponents have to work with if they're locked out, it's still a real struggle to get back in. And I'm not quite sure why. I mean, my first instinct is to think about, I guess, dropping in similar to Inkblot. It's just very difficult to kind of do that. I mean, we already see here now that the Husky Knights are able to get the clock down to 2-1, and just like that, I mean, they were just... MSU was just completely locked out. I mean, how are you supposed to get back in? It's a struggle.
Yeah, it is. Man, it's... I don't know. I don't see this map mode sticking around in the long term as we continue to develop the meta and the shape of our competitive scene for Splatoon 3. So it's one of those map modes that I think, you know, we'll enjoy while we have it. It's going to probably be phased out, I think, in the nearish future.
Right. I mean, when you think about it, there are so many map mode combos that are just starting to become more favored versus less favored by competitive players and tournament organizers. I mean, just as a reminder to the folks watching at home, the CCA maplets has been up since, gosh, October 3rd, I believe is... that was a month ago. And
yes.
A month ago, the meta, the competitive scene was so different because this is just a completely new game that we're working with. So, I mean, just things are so fluid around here. I mean, the next league will definitely have a very different look in terms of map lists.
Oh, most definitely. And even in the playoffs as well, because the playoff map list still needs to be created, which will be done pretty soon as we are closing in on the end of the regular season. And with that said, though, game number 6, we have Rainmaker on Hammerhead Bridge, and this is a map mode that I don't think we've gotten to see a whole lot of so far in the early lifespan of Splatoon 3.
Right, I don't think a lot of people have seen it yet because I think the initial kind of reaction is noticing at how narrow Hammerhead Bridge is and how it's very linear, and that can be kind of difficult to work with Rainmaker. We see MSU wisely jumping out here, Sandy on the try, as, I mean, we already see, again, the linearity really coming into play here, as you already see so much pink, so much of the Knights have completely taken over not only mid, but into MSU territory. I mean, linearity is the name of the game here, which is why you see, constant chargers and backlines already kind of being favored here on these types of modes and maps.
Yeah, but it's going to be Michigan State that does get the reset, so that will work out for them. This checkpoint is not very far. We saw that UW got the checkpoint, only brings them to 76 points remaining. So there's quite a marathon that goes after the checkpoint, and if you want to, win this game and get the knockout. So I think that there's still plenty of room for these players to make some plays and really put a dent in that scoreboard.
Right, I mean, if you think about not the linearity, this is also a literal uphill climb to get the Rainmaker to its final destination, if you think about it. There's very little entry points to move the Rainmaker past that first podium. So, I mean, plays like this where you're combining an Inkjet and Killer Whale onto these very linear chokehold points right here is very crucial, and it's a great play. But MSU, even with that Inkjet Killer Whale combo, they are the ones ending up losing the overall fight, going 2 down and 1 player jumping out. So great snipe here from Nick on MSU, but we're just back to this neutral situation where both teams are kind of trading out right now and still feeling each other out in this map.
Yeah, it's as far as we are concerned, this really is a tied game. Obviously, the lead going to the Huskies for getting to the checkpoint first, but the Huskies, I guess, don't really even need to make a play either. They could just be defensive. They can keep this as a low-scoring game. But I know that there's a lot of risk in doing that, but it seems to be paying off for them so far as they have just a stranglehold on mid right now. Nick gonna try to put together a defensive stop here. It's not gonna be Nick, but their teammate that gets the job done. The Rainmaker is gonna stop right at the checkpoint, and now they're gonna pop it and hopefully open up some space to push it away to prevent University of Washington from getting a much bigger lead here.
I can really appreciate how patient the Knights are with their pushes. I mean, oh wow, right as I say that, they are running and gunning for it. They get a wipeout against MSU, and they are poised to take the Rainmaker up to that final destination on the top here and bring it down to 0. There's a lot of pressure on the map right now as MSU is desperately just throwing the whole kitchen sink at this point in hopes of stopping the Knights, and they do, stopping them right at 37.
Definitely a solid push, and this is actually probably a game-winning push on this map mode combo, because now it's, as you mentioned before, a literal uphill battle the further that you have to climb in order to get the lead, because it is all uphill if you want to score points.
Right, I mean, now with MSU looking to make their uphill climb of their own, they're gonna need a lot of work and effort here to get it up. It's starting to pay off.
Oh!
2 go down, 3 go down. They get the picks that they need, but a rogue Booyah Bomb coming in at the last second stops them right before taking the lead. They are desperately trying to pop the Rainmaker. Chef grabs it, and they get the lead. Oh my goodness. That was the moment that they needed. One more go down, and they are desperately fighting for this pop, but fall to it nonetheless.
I am shocked that Ollie was in a really good position there to stop the Rainmaker, but just wasn't able to land a crucial shot that they needed there. And now it's going to be the lead that slips from their hands. With 15 seconds to play, this Rainmaker has to go coast to coast. They will get the reset to help them out here with just enough time to get the pop as well. So now, one more time, we will see an uphill battle, but it's the University of Washington that is facing that climb now. They will grab the Rainmaker with 1 second left, forcing overtime. They have 2 people to their advantage right now to make this push work.
Right, and 2 going down early MSU on the side of MSU is going to be crucial for setting up here. Ollie making some great plays. Oh no, but they let the try slip away. They're stuck. They're unable to move. The try's trying to get desperately to paint up that ramp. And Barberry's running and they take the lead. Oh, but the try got stuck below and couldn't quite let those sloshes of the bucket land. That Rainmaker was so weak, I could see it from over here. But it just literally slipped away. And the Splatsville Knights were able to completely clutch it out.
That's gotta hurt if you are San. I feel for San in this moment. You as a fellow Tri-Slosher player, those are some heartbreaking moments because you will typically find yourself in those clutch positions where your sloshes, you need to be like hitting something like over a ledge and you get the first slosh. Like it was very clear that San landed that first slosh, but they were begging for that second one and just were inches off. Credit to the Huskies though. That was a 2-person effort there to slow down San, make sure that San had enemy ink in front of them so that way they couldn't reach the Rainmaker carrier. So that was really a wonderful effort there from the Huskies in order to open that opportunity there and barely get that game-winning push.
I know that clutch factor. I mean, you have to be so hyper aware of like your Rainmaker's positioning there, and communication at that moment is so key. I mean, I hate to move on from that match, but we're already getting started into Game 7 of our friendly CCA tradition matchup here. Both teams just hit the ready button and they are running the same comps, except MSU swapping one weapon for a Luna Blaster, which I really like and appreciate here because of all the weird corners to peek out of.
Yeah, I think the Luna Blaster definitely has some advantages on this map. Either that or Sand was just like, the Tri-Slosher failed me, we are not using this again, you are in timeout. Which I would not completely blame Sand for either. Sometimes as a Tri player, you miss a good opportunity, you're done playing the weapon for now.
Yeah, you just can't go back from that. I mean, you just have to stop playing it and just kind of take a breather from it. I get it. But I mean, the Knights, the pure dominance that they have, they're already bringing the tower all the way to 16. Make that 15. MSU was unable to get those jumps. The Knights already taking it almost through that last checkpoint with and they took over the full first minute and a half, almost minute and a half of that match there. MSU has some work, and they're trying to put it in right now as a trade goes off between the Luna and the Splatling.
Yeah, you know, I think Sand really wanted to get a couple more there with that zip caster. They're in such a good position to do so, but it's a little bit hard sometimes with the zip caster. You get yourself in a kind of a funny position that you have to try to turn around and get the point blank shot. So it's a fun combo there with the zip caster Luna, but can be a little bit tricky at times.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's so difficult to work with, honestly, because you have to figure out succinctly where you are going to target, because you only have, what, 7 odd seconds or so with that special to make the most out of it. I mean, a trade at that point is usually something that you're thankful for. I mean, we've already seen the Knights already barreling through back to that checkpoint. MSU stopping them with a wipeout, and we're back to square one. It's almost as if two minutes of this match hasn't passed.
Oh man, yeah, it's the Huskies have really been in the driver's seat once again in this game, but MSU has really figured out how to get some nice clean wipes in those positions. Now though, they need to convert this into a push of their own, which they will get through that first checkpoint, but it doesn't seem like they're going to find much beyond that here, as they're going to go ahead and back up a little bit, build up their numbers, hopefully build up a couple specials as well, and try again in just a moment.
Right, MSU was really struggling to stop the Huskies Knights sloshing player, exerting a lot of pressure onto the tower. They are just unable to find those crucial picks. I mean, the sloshing machine has been such a great weapon to work with early on in this meta, so it's no wonder that they're finding a lot of difficulties in responding to the sloshing machine. And the same song and dance is happening right now as the Splatsville Knights are already heading back for a third time now to this last checkpoint, and with a lot of momentum in their favor, they are just about there once again.
And Michigan State will stop them right there once again. So 15 points remaining seems to be what the Husky Splatsville Knights will just be stuck at for the rest of this game. Can Michigan State respond and figure out how to crack the code and push beyond 15? That will remain to be seen in this last minute here. They're gonna have to find a couple of nice picks to open up an opportunity, but they can't do that when they are 3 down and make that a wipeout.
Well, I mean, they were just, the Knights play in, I made this comment in the last game, but because of the chaoticness of the last game, they play very patiently, which I can greatly appreciate, because they know how to pace themselves and when to wait, and then when to just go and hit the gas pedal and just go. And it's, again, with same song and dance, this is the fourth time now that the tower is back on that last checkpoint. Right to 15. 13 and make that technically a 5th time now, as finally the checkpoint slowly begins to wind down and the Knights have numbers to actually get through this checkpoint.
There we go, and now that's going to be the checkpoint finally falling. The Huskies have cracked the code here, and Ollie will ride this tower to victory. The clean knockout there after a 5th time getting to that checkpoint. So that will be a clean sweep for the Huskies, winning all 7 games. For logistics purposes, this will go down as a 4-0 victory for the Husky Splatsville Knights. But, you know, I still think that this set was a lot closer than the score indicates. Michigan State did a fantastic job of hanging in there time after time. And I think that University of Washington is just such a momentum-based team. It was all over once they lost game 1.
Right, and I think that also comes into play with, again, like I mentioned, that their pacing and their, I guess, distinguishment of knowing when to go versus when to pull back. The execution is just much greater and they're much more efficient at it, which I found incredibly interesting. I mean, given that as a newer quote-unquote team that has been formed as the league has started, that those team dynamics already found so quickly against MSU, it's just incredible to see. Now, like you said, the scores, even with this sweep, were much closer than they actually are. MSU, I hope they take away some key points from this match going into their last game of the season, because they are right at the cusp, but they have much to take away from this and grow as a team. And they are one of the top teams in the CCA right now. So this was nothing to sneeze at.
Oh, absolutely. If I had to put together a top 6 list of what the CCA looks like, both of these teams are in that top 6. And they've demonstrated it time and time again. Michigan State, you know, has started really from the bottom and worked their way to this position to be recognized as one of the top teams in the CCA. However, their journey does not end here. It's a continuous ongoing battle to improve and a bit of a struggle to work your way to the top of the ranks. And the great thing about collegiate is that the scene is literally shifting all the time because of just the nature of collegiate esports. People rotate in and out even semester by semester. So certainly next semester as well, we could see even more growth from them. They could work their way up even more. Right now, their playoff projections are not looking great after this game. For the Huskies, they are just 1 inch closer now to punching their ticket to the playoffs. Of course, there's still a lot of matches to be played. A lot of eyes right now actually on Kansas State University Purple Cats, because they can really shake up the scoreboard, and Michigan State, despite what's happened here, could still sneak in based on what happens in those matches.
Right, we have a lot of reschedules because this is college kids are busy. So there isn't a clear picture right now, at least in Division 1 Group A, where this match has taken place. We are waiting still on a couple of matches here. So, I mean, at this point, the playoff berths are still wide open. And like you said, KSU is going to be the one to disrupt this division, because they are only 0-1 right now. They have 3 games to play still in the regular season, in addition to the upcoming week ahead. So Division 1, it may look said and done, but when you actually look behind the curtain, there is a lot to be told there, and we are going to have a crazy closing season to Division 1 DRF, and I am so looking forward to it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and this is just Group A. Group B, I think, is even more hectic, actually, where we've seen the Night Sharks from the University of Central Florida come out of, I think, literally nowhere to disrupt the entire league. And the stocks right now for the Night Sharks are going to the moon. So invest in UCF right now, because they're looking fantastic in Group B. And there's still a lot that can happen there to shake up the standings even more. But the I mean, one thing's for certain is it's going to be a little bit of an unpredictable finish, and an even more unpredictable playoffs for Division 1.
Man, the script writers could have not asked for anything better here, DRF. We could have not asked for a better start for the CCA league.
Absolutely. So it's gonna be one to keep an eye on. And this isn't the only match that we have today. We have a couple more matches ahead. This is merely match number 1 of our CCA triple header. We've got matches coming up in Division 2 and Division 3 that have lots at stake, as all of these teams are fighting for playoff positions, playoff berths, and it's going to be a wild rest of the evening. So we're merely an hour in. There is plenty more to come up.
Right, folks. We are going to take a short break as we prepare for our match number 2 of our triple header at starting very, very soon. We got the Grizzco Workers Union from Worcester Polytechnic versus MSU's second team, MSU White. That'll be coming up in just a few moments as we get the teams prepared to start the private battle. So folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more CCA League. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Game 2 of our CCA League triple header for Week 4. I am Mizuno, joined by my good friend and co-leader of the CCA, DRF. DRF, Game 2 of our triple header. Woo!
Yes, game 2. And, we had a fantastic Div 1 set earlier. We are now jumping over to Division 3. And this is another high stakes matchup for the two teams involved. We have the Grizzco Workers Union from Worcester Polytechnic Institute versus MSU White, the JV team from Michigan State University.
So we have some hardcore Michigan rep going on here tonight. And to talk a little bit about this matchup real quick, never mind, right as I say that, we start the map. TDLR, very high stakes to get a potential playoff berth for MSU White. We'll talk a little bit more about it in the next game, but we are jumping right into game 1 of our CCA triple header.
Oh boy, here we go, starting right from the top. Rainmaker on Sturgeon Shipyard. Early on, we are seeing the Grizzco Workers Union getting that initial pop, and they are going to take this right up to that first checkpoint very quickly. They're going to get shut down right in time, though, and they're going to bring that all the way to 66. They're going to play at a lightning fast pace, it seems, but for now, it is going to get punished. And now this is an opportunity for Michigan State to get back in here after an early deficit.
Right, we have Worcester in the blue here and MSU White in the yellow. Already jumping all the way up into that top left here, unable to get to the podium in time, getting stopped by Garrett on that gal. We see looks like Worcester trying to jump on over and head over to the podium, unable to get any further, getting stopped by the Flingza here.
A great stop indeed. So very quick trades and pushes for both of these teams. Both of these teams are very antsy and ready to go, as we have already seen here. Just a minute and 15 into this game. A nice pick there with the missiles for this Flingza Krona, but they're going to get shut down by the Splatling. This Hydra playing from underneath the Grizzco Workers Union. That's going to be a 3-down situation now. So this is an opportunity for that first checkpoint to fall. But no, the Blaster coming up clutch here, not letting a single point slip. And the rest of their team is going to respawn here. And this should be a good opportunity for Michigan State to get back in the mid.
Great defensive efforts on MSU's Hydra and Blaster players, holding it down and preventing Worcester from reaching that checkpoint. Rainmaker jumps back on over to mid. The Rapid Blaster setting up a wave breaker to kind of scout out their opponents, but falls back just a bit, gets a great pick here to go down. We see the Blaster still trying to show on some pressure, grabs the Rainmaker by mistake, I believe, and goes down. Just constant trades back and forth as Worcester and MSU White just exchanging trades and numbers at this point. Members keep falling down, and it's just a giant domino effect.
Oh boy, and look at this. Garrett is going to try to stop this lead from falling, but no, it is going to be the lead in favor of Michigan State. But they do lose 3 members while they are at it, and Worcester is going to pick this Rainmaker up very quick, and they're looking to get the lead back. They do not want to be in a deficit for more than just a few seconds here, and that's going to be the first checkpoint falling. A tit for tat now between these two teams as they are just responding push for push. But look at this! Look at the jump! And that's going to be a push all the way down to 38 remaining. Wow!
That Flingza propelled themselves. They know about the points and getting over, and they just saw the opportunity against it, the stringer, and took it. Great play there by Worcester and that Flingza player, and that play is crucial. It is so difficult to get points on this map, as we had seen in our previous matchup between MSU Splatoon, the varsity team, and their opponents, the Husky Splatsville Knights. MSU White looking to respond. They are going to take the spinner all the way up to the top here, maybe hoping to get a vantage view. So the Rainmaker supported by the Splattershot player, hoping to get some picks, falls down, but Justin is able to rush right back onto the podium, but is stopped short there by the blaster.
An excellent push in response by Worcester there to bring that all the way, to a nice comfortable position. They're not in a position right now to get more points on the board quite yet, but they are maintaining so much pressure right now. They're getting trades in the zone, in the Michigan State half of the map, which works entirely in their favor at this point. With 40 seconds to play, Michigan State is still very much on the defensive. They need to go ahead and convert this defense into offense, but they can't be taking trades. They need to be finding favorable matchups here, and it's not happening. But the Hydra is picking up the Rainmaker. That should have been a reset. And no, this is going to be detrimental to Michigan State, as they're going to bring this one up and get a trade there, and that is not in their favor whatsoever. Possibly a bad play call here that could cost them the game.
Right, I was about to say there might have been some miscommunication going on, because that was a very odd play to make when the Rainmaker was just about to reset and the Hydra was the last man standing. Worcester is going to take the Rainmaker to a stalling point and bring the game to a close. Worcester taking the first game of the set versus MSU White.
Wow. I think Michigan State was in a very difficult position there. So it's, oh, there we go, the quad dab. Gotta hit him with it.
Gotta hit the quad dab.
But as I was saying, Michigan State was in a very tricky position there. Any trades at that stage were on their half of the map. Grizzco Workers Union was doing such a fantastic job of maintaining that pressure that I'm not sure if Michigan State would have even gotten back to mid on a Rainmaker reset. So I think they really just had to go for it almost. It would have been the better play call to just let it reset, give yourself a better opportunity, but I think they definitely got a little antsy there, and I'm not even sure if they would have had the opportunity on a reset, so I can't quite blame them either.
I mean, just that pressure of the clock ticking and the really poor position that you're in, that you've been placed, where you're down this giant deficit. It feels like you just have a giant wall to scale. I mean, that I can totally understand that pressure regardless of skill level. It can be pretty daunting, and you sometimes make the wrong decisions thinking out of desperation. You have to react, you have to do something. And that's something that a lot of teams and a lot of players, including myself, still struggle with to this day. I mean, regardless of skill level.
Oh, absolutely. It's a lot of just practice, and with some of these teams, especially as we start to look into Div 3, don't really have that experience necessarily. So everything is a learning experience. So that might be a learning experience there for Michigan State as they find themselves in an early 0-1 deficit. But they're gonna look to redeem themselves on Splatzone's Inkblot Art Academy. And given the comps that we've been seeing so far, I think that Hydra could be pretty beneficial, especially if Grizzco doesn't come out with a charger to counter that.
I was just about to say, MSU can really take advantage of the backline composition with that Hydra. I feel like weapons like the Hydra or the Explosher might be a little bit more favorable on Inkblot Art Academy relative to a charger, just because of the paint output that it could deal, as well as the, I guess, the extra just bursts of range that you're able to just, lob over onto plat or lob over into like those courts on either side of the map. I think MSU can definitely play to its strengths there, but we're just gonna have to wait and see as we quickly enter into Splat Zone's Inkblot Art Academy Game 2.
Oh, and there is the E-Leader pivot, actually. And it's gonna be Grizzco Workers Union that comes out with the Hydra. A very interesting set of adjustments here for both of these teams. Wow. And I think that MSU might have just made the better adjustments here.
Right, I mean, we were expecting MSU to bring the Hydra. The MSU in blue, not Booster. What a surprising turn of events.
Definitely surprising indeed, but right now, Michigan State struggling to get down off of their plat here. The E-leader is so effective, but only effective if you can land your shots. Finally gonna land one there, and it's gonna be 2 down on either side, as now this is just an absolute bloodbath. Both of these teams trying to get first control of the zone, but it's not falling either way quite yet. The Tri-Slosh are doing their best to hold off this Worcester push, but it's not going to be any good, as now we see it's the Grizzco Workers Union with first control of the zone.
Right, I mean, just the constant back and forth here. I mean, that zone didn't fall for 45 seconds. The objective wasn't really on the mind of either team, to be, it looked like. They were trying to look for crucial picks and in hopes of getting kind of just a little bit more comfortability to no, a great inkjet play onto Booster's Hydra. From MSU. 2 go down from the inkjet. Oh my god, MSU's try played that so incredibly well. That was a great set of picks there, but they fall to the roller, dropping down onto front flat.
I need to go back and see that one. That was phenomenal. A phenomenal play there from Spell to hold on to the zone, and Michigan State is still holding on to the zone, but no, it looks like they're gonna be 1-point shy. No, they hold on to it and get the lead. Michigan State is still in control. The Tri-Slosher is on a rampage here, finally gonna get shut down by this sloshing machine. We don't have K-machines quite yet in this game.
I keep making the same mistake. I called the splatter shot the K shot earlier. I mean, it's a poor habit. Nonetheless, Worcester now has controlled the zone, lobbing everything and anything onto their opponent's flat. The punishment is slowly winding down. Great kill here from the sloshing to get a crucial pick. A 2 goes down on the side of MSU. Make that 3. The sloshing machine is on the rampage and secures a wipeout and rolls right onto the enemy spawn. Drops a booyah and is putting a lot of pressure onto MSU, and they take the lead.
Oh boy, and it's not over yet. Finally gonna get shut down, but the machine's damage has already been done, and now Michigan State is scrambling to get control of this zone. The E-leader is gonna be forced to drop, and this is looking like a Grizzco Workers Union knockout. Wow, what a game 2.
Wow. Wow. That sloshing machine. Oh, I hope. Oh man, we gotta look at those stats later. The sloshing machine, like you said, literally went on a rampage. I think they probably got almost like what 5 or 6 consecutive kills right there from that one moment. I mean, that was incredible. That was a fantastic set of plays there from Worcester, and I think just the fact that they were able to enable their teammate to get onto that plat and let them proceed to go on said rampage, I think says a ton here. And with a resounding win, a resounding knockout, Worcester is in the lead of the set 2-0. And this is looking very familiar to the set that we just saw previously, DRF, with MSU Splatoon.
Yeah, it certainly is. Looking at Grizzco Workers Union taking the early 2-0 victory, and you know, it's Michigan State, similar to their varsity counterpoints. They're in this set, but they just haven't quite converted into a victory yet. It's still early on, but this is a very, very crucial map mode, Tower Control Eeltail Alley, and this I think is a pretty unfortunate map 3, because this is so momentum based, and everything right now is pointing towards a Grizzco Workers Union 3-0 lead if the momentum maintains itself. I think if they can just get a couple, 1 or 2 early picks, we might see a quick 2-minute game.
Right. I mean, picks are going to be really crucial here at the start, and setting that neutral to your favor is going to be so key for MSU to not fall under the same trap that their varsity counterparts did to the Husky Splatsville Knights. And they had the potential. I mean, you saw in that previous match on Zone's ink blot, the zone didn't fall to either side of either team for almost a whole minute. So they are fully capable of gaining a neutral and keeping some positioning and map control. You're right. I think part of it is an execution that they need to actually try to convert and get those points on the ground and during the actual game after neutral.
All right, so here we go into game number 3. It's a 2-0 lead for the Grizzco Workers Union. Taking a look at several adjustments on either side, we've got the Hydra mirror match.
I'm gonna love this mirror match. We have MSU White in the lime green and Wooster Grizzco Workers Union in the purple. I also see a VDS, a custom dually squelcher, also being pulled out. Oh my god, and right as I say that, we just see a bloodbath happen in the middle of the map. We have Wooster only dropping 2, while MSU dropped 3 members, and it's just the Hydra remaining trying to fight off the rest of the Wooster squad. And the tower is already almost at the check. It just reaches the checkpoint for Wooster. Dear F, MSU's in trouble again.
Yeah, and it's just the map mode is so momentum heavy. And look at this. It's going to be Neptune that is going to break through the second checkpoint and try to get out alive. They're able to take someone down before they go down themselves. But wow, a phenomenal job from the Grizzco Workers Union to break through 2 checkpoints in the first minute. Luckily for Michigan State, they were able to piece this one together and get the stop. They're going to buy themselves an opportunity now. They get the pick on the end zap, but they're going to lose 2 of their own. It's a 2v2 situation now. Even numbers on both sides, but this bubbler is going to help them break through this first checkpoint, and I really think that that's going to be a key for I guess specifically MSU. I think they're the only ones with that bubbler here, and it's so important for these tower control maps.
Right, the sustainability of the bubbler and the Booyah Bomb. Both teams are wielding Booyah Bombs with, I believe it's Wooster actually wielding 2 Booyah Bombs with both the Hydra and the Sloshing Machine. Booyahs are going to be crucial for making or breaking a push or stopping a push altogether if you're on the defensive front. But we already see, it looks like Wooster is back at it again with their push and putting on a lot of pressure onto MSU White, fighting for that tower and taking 2 down, 3 down. It's just the Hydra left on MSU White, and they are fighting. They get the wipeout. MSU actually secures a wipeout, but they do lose a couple of points during that exchange.
And it definitely could have been much worse, but it seemed like the Grizzco Workers Union, they actually slipped off the tower there. The tower kind of got stuck in a position where it was a bit hard to climb. So now it's going to be an opportunity for Michigan State to get a push going. That bubbler helping them get it started. They're able to find 3 picks there, but it's the machine that is causing havoc and is able to find 3 of their own.
Hofstra on this sloshing machine. This is the key player that has been giving MSU White so much trouble, not only in this game, but in the prior match in Splatsville's 8th lot. Oh, we almost see a good pick here. A couple of trades going on in the middle of the map here, and MSU is looking to start something yet again because 3 go down. This looks like a great opportunity to regain some of that control they had lost during this neutral exchange.
They're going to go ahead and break that wave breaker as well. And it looks like it's starting to push up just a little bit, trading players there. They need to get Hofstra off of this top right area. The bubble now coming out. I think this bubble just continues to come out maybe just a little bit too early. They need it for this crucial checkpoint, but they don't have it by the time it gets there. The ends at the last one standing as it's 3 down yet again. There's the wipeout. This is an opportunity for Michigan State now to get the lead, but they need to hold off all of the Grizzco Workers Union members as they dive in from spawn. They are 7 points away from the lead. Here it is, the lead exchange.
Oh my gosh, I mean, I was just holding onto my breath there. With the Grizzco Workers Union just charging at everyone. MSU, I really like this play by MSU. I think this was a little bit more of an act of desperation, but all 3 remaining players hopped on the tower to secure that lead. They were going to do anything and everything it took to make sure they secured that lead, because who knows if they were ever going to get that chance ever again. However, this might have been at the cost of having a staggered respawn here. They are returning slowly 1 by 1, staggered specials, and Wooster is already back at their previous points at 41, and 2 are down on the side of MSU.
Oh boy, and very quickly the lead is exchanged back, just like in game 1. Worcester does not know how to be in a deficit for long, as they are ready to respond each and every single time. 15 seconds to play. Booyah bombs coming out from the Grizzco Workers Union to try and stagger this Michigan State team even more. 3 down, make that a wipeout, and this game is over. The Grizzco Workers Union takes a 3-0 lead.
Wow. I mean, Worcester knows, they just know how to fight back, man. I mean, even with such a deficit, like you have 50 seconds left and you just lost the lead and you have some really big points to make up from. They just persisted and continued. They just persisted and played what they were used to playing, letting Frosta just kind of go wild and go ham, basically. Letting some of their other players support Frosta and ensuring that they're able to move. And MSU, like I mentioned during that push, they had staggered respawns, and even though they had a couple of specials pop up to kind of stall that push, they didn't have a united front to address Worcester as they were ready to take on that checkpoint.
Oh man, yeah, and I think Michigan State's issue there was consistently jumping in after, like you had mentioned. It seemed like they were playing a little bit desperate. They wanted to try to extend that lead, but it ultimately staggered them. And I loved the anticipatory play by the Grizzco Workers Union to send a couple members out to start pushing into the base of MSU White. That's really what did it for them. It was just so well executed that there was no response, and they were once again able to work out of a deficit in less than 30 seconds.
Right, great thing that you mentioned that too, because that's such a great use of like team coordination and execution, right? Because that means they had a plan in mind going in. They knew exactly what to do and what they had to do to get back that lead. And that's great, just great synergy and great teamwork and play calling. So, I mean, Worcester has some great fundamentals established as a newer team into this collegiate scene, and it's paying them off right now completely as they are heading. Oh my gosh, they're already 3-0. We are back in the same situation as before with our previous matchup of the night. Game 4, Clan Blitz, Mahi Mahi Resort. Worcester ready to get out the broom for a clean sweep, and MSU White backed into a corner, having to completely 180 this entire set around.
They can do it. They 100% can do it. Michigan State held leads in all 3 games at some point in the second half. It's just that the Grizzco Workers Union are trying to take the comeback champions title from the Neo Comet Blasters from season 1. I don't think they've been in quite that type of deficit, but they have worked out of a deficit every single time, and that's what really makes this team scary, is that no lead is ever safe. You need to be smart about when you get the lead. You can't overplay, because now you're just going to be playing right into their hands, and it's going to be over. They'll flip it back on you 30 seconds tops.
I couldn't agree with you more, and this is where the mistakes can be truly punished in Clan Blitz Mahi Mahi here. Game 4, we have Worcester in the blue/purple, I mean colors these days, and MSU White in the bright stinking orange. Already one player goes down on the side of MSU White, and we're only 15 seconds in. Another player drops on the side of Worcester. And D-Rev, I think we're just going to see a lot of deaths in this match.
Oh, that's the nature of Mahi Mahi Resort, really. It's when you have such a close-knit map and Hydras on either side, a lot of range to work with for both of these teams, it's natural that you're going to be seeing a lot of picks going either way. And, you know, these picks might not even amount to anything either. As we have seen so far with this push coming in from the Grizzco Workers Union, that's going to be the Clam going to waste their shattering and along with their hopes of this first push. But now it's going to be up to Michigan State to try to work their way back into mid, because that they're able to get these stops and a couple of picks, but they struggle to get this map control and control of the clam economy as well. And that's going to be necessary if they want to get a push going early on.
The key to this match here is not the defensive game, but the offensive game. Both teams having these strong Hydra players and a Bamboo player on the side of MSU White. Their defensive efforts are going to be just fine. It's whoever is able to get the stronger pushes at the end of the day is the team that's going to succeed. Wooster already getting a start at that, dropping in a ball and one clam. But it looks like that's all that'll go into the basket as that shuts close and drops a pity clam for MSU White.
That's going to be a 1+1 for them. And now Michigan State eagerly trying to work their way back into mid here. 2 players down on either side. Make that a third. And this is an opportunity now. Can they get the Hydra? Yes, they will. The gates are now open. Can they hold this position? It looks like the Grizzco Workers Union is staggering just enough to where they could put together a defensive stop here, and that's actually going to miraculously work out for them. Now the power clam going to come in. They get the 1 additional clam, but that's going to be it for this push, it seems. It's going to be a 1-1, and this is it. No, they get the extra power clam in for the lead halfway through this game, but a single power clam can flip this one back, and if Michigan State has learned anything, this push is going to come fast from the Grizzco Workers Union.
Gonna say the Hydra sneaking in there for that 1 clam, and is it worth it is the question. Right now, yes, that play is working out really well, because even with the stagger delay from that Hydra going down, they just missed the ball throw though, but they're back at it, and they make the throw, but Wooster is just down to their sloshing machine player. Never mind! Frosta goes down and Wooster has a staggered delay. The water level is dropping, so the map composition has now completely changed in favor, of course, of the currently losing team. And the basket finally comes to a close for Wooster's sake, down to 49 points, DRF.
I think Michigan State is slowly starting to figure this one out. This Grizzco Workers Union team has given them so much trouble as they are successfully able to convert defense to offense every single time. Here comes a nice power clam toss to their teammate. That's going to be enough to get it into the basket there, and this should be a lead exchange once again. The sloshing machine able to get a nice pick, make that 2. No, not going to be the case as the Hydra once again coming in clutch, getting 3 down here, and this push is over. So now it's going to be Michigan State once again playing from behind, but this time this deficit is much more workable as they are going to need 1+2 to get the lead back.
To say they have a lot to work with here with that killer rail and booyah combo. Oh, the Hydra player calling out that sloshing machine. That is huge. They only have 1 player, 2 players to deal right in front of them, but the Hydra from Wooster completely stops any push in their tracks. And I was about to say that was a great start of a potential push to gain back those points. But I mean, the Hydra player and the sloshing machine both working in tandem right there just puts a stop to MSU's plans. Now with only 30 seconds left, both teams have a ball. Whoever makes the push first is likely going to secure this game.
The Grizzco Workers Union does have 3 power clams, so if this push is successful, it is going to be massive. And here it is. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. They only need 2 clams to win, and there is the knockout! Grizzco Workers Union sweeps Michigan State.
Wow. Like I just said, whoever was able to make that push first wins. But right as I said that, I didn't realize Wooster had 2 clam balls to work with. That extreme amount of pressure is just so daunting, and Wooster was able to play off of that, and with a couple of quick specials and that booyah bomb to secure a little bit more wiggle room, they were able to secure the knockout and the set. Wow, GG's to Wooster.
Yeah, I mean, GG's indeed. That was a very well fought 4 games. You know, it didn't come easy at all. They faced a deficit in every single game and worked their way back. Michigan State, I think, really started to figure out the puzzle here as they proceeded through this set. It just unfortunately was a little bit too little too late. And you know, you hate to see it for Michigan State in this case, but I gotta give so much credit to Grizzco Workers Union. They are such a tenacious bunch. I'm impressed. I'm very, very impressed. And this win, I don't think necessarily secures them playoffs. I think there could still be some funny business with tiebreakers, but I think it basically increases their chances of playoffs to like 90%.
Right, they are the most likely number one candidate right now for that number one slot for playoffs. And unfortunately for MSU, this was their fighting chance to secure that playoff spot with and the standings before this match going in, they were placed in third. They had to win this match to potentially secure the number 2 spot. However, with this loss to Grizzco Workers Union, MSU's chances for a playoff berth are unfortunately no more. But I mean, I credit where credit is due, not only to Grizzco Workers Union, but to MSU White. This is the JV team of MSU. So MSU has 2 teams now, and they had some big footsteps to follow under the MSU varsity team. And for their first showing in this league and in their group, they have some outstanding potential, and I'm so excited to see where they go because I love some of the comps and play styles that they were running during this matchup, and a huge tip of the hat, if you will, for MSU White.
Oh, definitely. I am so thoroughly impressed with both of these teams. Michigan State White, the JV team. I think there's a few different JV teams that are in Division 3, so it's a bit of a JV team's paradise here. So it's very exciting to see. And actually going through the numbers here, I guess I will be the first to congratulate the Grizzco Workers Union on being the second team to confirm a playoff spot in the entire CCA league. It is statistically impossible for them to drop below the 2nd seed at this stage. So congratulations to the Grizzco Workers Union. Actually, I think we might have, let's see. We might be able to get one of these players in here.
Oh, I think that would be fantastic. So we at the CCA streams here, we've been trying to experiment with different ways of, passing the time for headers because, in between the sets, right? Teams have designated specific slots. So we might have a little bit of extra time here to kind of fill the gaps. We've done an analyst desk before, but one idea that we've had was player interviews. Hopefully we might be able to grab a Worcester player into the stream here. If not, I believe our backup plan is a quick little analyst desk that we can kind of shift on over to.
Yes, and go ahead and excuse my typing, folks, but yeah, we are actively working with the Grizzco Workers Union to see if we can get someone on stream for a bit, because I would love to kind of see what the mindset is and their experiences so far this season, because they are a brand new team. One of our lovely staff members, Kira, is an alumni of Worcester Polytechnic Institute. So I think this is an excellent opportunity to kind of get to know this university a little bit better. So we have a few of them in VC, so let's actually go ahead and drag them in. So give us just a second here. Hello.
Hello, Worcester. Hi, guys. We figured out how to pronounce your school's name.
So, first of all, congratulations. I believe we can officially say that you are the first Division 3 team to secure a playoff spot. How does that feel?
Feels amazing, honestly.
It does feel amazing.
We this whole league has been an absolute wonderful experience for all. I'm the only one on our team that's any competitive experience. So just seeing my fellow teammates get together and get to experience this competitive environment to do well is amazing. So we're really happy and excited for the future.
That is awesome. I know Corona, you said that you're the only one with true competitive experience. Can you give us a little bit of background? Actually, it's always interesting to see the different people that have experience and coming to the universities and forming a team. So what's your background?
Yeah, so I played on a single Splatoon team at the beginning of Splatoon 2. I played on Just for the Halibut for like 8 months or so, and I kind of dipped from the competitive scene. But once Splatoon 3 was coming out, I asked some of my friends who I knew played Splatoon, and we made a server and got people together. And I saw that the CCA League was having a second season. I said, "Hey, would anyone be interested in this? Just putting out some feels can be a very casual thing." And lo and behold, we had eight total people that were interested in participating. So yeah, that's a little bit of a story behind us there.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty awesome. I guess for how do you pronounce it? Find? Find?
Yeah.
Find?
My
Find
in-game
and-
name, I changed it to Rocket Fuel. So I should probably update that here.
Probably a good idea, but for Finn, Frosta, and Neptune, who just joined us here, maybe you guys can kind of share your experiences with kind of dipping your toes into the competitive scene, since this is kind of your quote-unquote first time playing in a more competitive team-based environment. Maybe you guys can share a little bit about your experiences and what you've gone through.
So for me, I've never really dabbled in competitive. I've always just been like the solo queue warrior grind because I just didn't want to join. I joined some servers, but I didn't really participate in anywhere. And so I got Splatoon in the early-ish era where Try was insanely strong and it was rapid blasters and stuff like that. So starting from the original and then coming here and then playing in this league. I've always wanted to get into competitive. I just didn't know how and where to go. And so now this is a really good place for me to play competitive and play with my friends.
My experience, I know it's gonna be slightly different than Frosta's. I've been playing Splatoon since 2015-ish. When the game first came out, I saw it in the direct, and I was like, "Oh, that looks interesting. I might as well pick it up." And at first, none of the real weapon classes spoke out to me, and then when the Splatlings and Sloshers got announced, I was like, "Okay, finally something I feel like I can use." So I've been kind of on that solo warrior grind as a Splatling main, which has been a bit of an up and down road since Splatoon 2. And I've definitely tried to, especially since I got here, and I asked around a little bit during Splatoon 2, and I couldn't find enough folks who wanted to make a competitive team, really anyone at all. But then, due to a little bit of luck and stumbling upon the right people at the right time in the WPI Discord, I kind of got roped in here. And then when Cronus suggested a league, I was head over heels for the idea.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad people have been really receptive and there's a lot of positive attitudes and energies towards the league, because I think it's something that's it's not a new idea, but it's a new idea to a different audience, right?
Yeah.
I guess I can also cop on this. Solo warrioring, that's something that I'm also very used to.
Let's go.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I played Turf War for the majority of Splatoon 2. I hardly dabbled in ranked. And then, what was it? Met all these guys, fantastic people, similar story, grinded ranked mode in this game, and I started practicing with these guys, and it's just been an absolutely lovely experience, right? I played other competitive games before, previously Smash Ultimate, but having a team-based game and team-based effort, right, where everyone needs to work together and synchronize their plays and push together is just something new and different for me that is enjoyable. Yeah, this game's amazing.
Man, that's awesome.
That is awesome to hear. So I actually have a bit of a question about the match that we just saw. We saw in every single game in this set, all 4 games, you were in a deficit at some point. Take me through that. How do you guys address these situations here? What are the callouts like? Because every time we saw you in a deficit, it was almost a certainty that you were gonna flip it back on Michigan State in 30 seconds flat. Which is very, very impressive just to see. So, what's the mindset like? What's the callouts like, when you're in those positions?
Well, it's definitely It's definitely a little bit chaotic in our BC, I'll tell you that. We really just try to take it a few seconds at a time in these matches. Obviously, for us, it's very important to build the good ground up of painting the ground, getting map control, stuff like that, and then to start getting a few picks. Stopping those pushes, getting back control, and then starting to slowly work our way into steamrolling to our push. Is really kind of how we take it. A lot of this is unintentional, just because of how people play. Frost and Neptune work really well together, balancing the Slayer roles for us. And I know that like Finn, myself, and Garrett too are really good at just kind of keeping map control, keeping people away from each other, and just trying to just push them into a corner when we can. So.
Yeah, and I think it also helps depending on what everyone else runs, because I know this happens with me sometimes because I run Thermalink on my Hydra, which is a bit of an odd tactic, but it allows me to be more or less a one-man echolocator, where I can hopefully just tap the enemies with a couple of shots and then immediately give callouts to everyone as, oh, they're here, here, and here, in order to allow them to get some in. And then the Slayers do absolutely incredible. We would not be nearly as much of a threat without them absolutely being able to make the right decisions at the right time to get as many picks as they do.
I think our comms usually don't change. We usually try to stay focused, calling out people, making plays. It's just that we try to start the initiative to get momentum going. And so getting those first picks, taking map advantages first, and then starting to push the advantage state to the point where to push the advantage state so that the other team has to respond. Because at the end of the day, they only need one good push to stop us. But it goes the same way other way around. We only need one good push to get lead.
Right, and that mindset is just so crucial to have during these moments. So I could totally see where you guys are coming from. Neptune, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just also wanted to add it on is we also keep our composure, as Alex mentioned before, right? It's very, our chat is very chaotic, right, with the callouts, but overall, I think we just keep very well composed on the team, right? We don't get tilted, we don't get frustrated, right? That's one of the things I think that just helps us quite a bit when trying to come back from situations that seem impossible, right? Because that's one thing that I notice, a lot of players, they get tilted, right? And then they start zeroing on trying to get one guy or not focus too much on the objective rather than the bigger picture, right? And I do think we do a great job of communicating as a team, keeping our composure, and just keeping map control overall.
Love that positive mental attitude there, that PMA, because I absolutely agree with you personally that keeping that composure and preventing tunnel vision is so crucial nowadays. So I'm glad that you guys also have that kind of that understanding and trust with each other. I think that's a good way of putting it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I trust all these guys with my life if I would.
That's what happens a lot with college teams, I feel, is that there's a different bond, I guess. Well, and speaking of college, last question before we head into our last matchup here. As college students, how do you guys prepare for the matches each week relative to balancing with, of course, your schoolwork and your studies? Could you maybe share how you guys have been dealing with that and experiencing that, since I'm sure each one of you have different schedules, different majors, other commitments outside Splatoon? I can definitely understand that. So I'd love to hear your guys' experiences with juggling all of that.
Yeah, I can definitely speak on that. WPI does not make it easy for us. WPI is a very rigorous school and stuff. So kind of it's a little bit difficult sometimes to find the time to play together to scrim if possible. But I really try to make sure that everyone is kind of aware of what's going on for the week and kind of voices their opinion. One thing I think has definitely helped us is that I really much try to get everyone's personal preference on maps and modes they want to play for the coming match and weapons they want to do. I really take the organization of this team pretty seriously because I want to see it do well. I want people to have fun. I want us to compete. So so it's definitely a little bit more chaotic than I think some schools have it, but we make it work. So.
Man, that's awesome. If anyone else wants to share their own experiences with scheduling, balancing school and life, please feel free to share because like you attested to, Corona, I think balancing and staying communicative and being on top of all your schedules is really key to having a successful collegiate team.
To a degree, it kind of comes with the way our school's set up, because instead of having 6 classes at a time, we only have 3. So that makes it slightly more manageable, but it's mostly Krona who is doing the heavy lifting here. I cannot credit him enough, because he is always on time with, weekly Google Forms on updating on time. Updating availability times, updating our map preferences and our weapon preferences for the week, and we all get it done within a reasonable amount of time, and then he's able to orchestrate, scrims and matches from there. And honestly, this team wouldn't be nearly as successful without his incredible leadership.
Agreed. Just the when to meets especially help us find times for us to meet up and either practice, scrim, or get ready for the matches. And there's always time to warm up as well. And Alex always encourages us and notifies us, hey, make sure you're here at this time, right? And just having an organizer like that is critical for having a balance between schoolwork and game. Yeah.
Right, for sure. I mean, just that constant communication. It sounds like you guys got a handle on that, and that'll pay off dividends in the long run. I can assure you that. All right, with that being said, I think we are just about at time. We have a final matchup ahead for our triple header of the night. Thank you, WPI, Worcester. We finally got it down. Worcester Polytechnic Institute. Thank you all so much for joining us for this impromptu interview. We greatly appreciate your time and commitment to the league. So thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it.
No,
Thank you for having us.
And good luck in the playoffs.
Thank you for having us.
Oh yeah,
you put on a
congrats on the
good show.
playoffs. Yeah, congrats on the
Thank you.
playoffs part. That's important.
Hopefully we'll get to talk again with you all soon.
Yes, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully.
All right. We'll be tuning into the stream.
Yes.
Yes,
Yep.
please
Yep.
do. All right, that'll be it for now. We're going to take a super short break as we head into our final matchup. So do not go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back soon.
The sleepers on the sleeper soldier.
Welcome back, everybody. We have made it through 2 fantastic sets. We are now at our 3rd and final set of our very first CCA triple header. If you are just joining us, I am DRF, joined by my co-commentator Mizuno, and we are going to be wrapping things up today with a Division 2 matchup between the Reef Runners of Cal Poly Pomona versus Hofstra Pride from Hofstra University.
Hofstra Pride and Reef Runners. Now, these 2 teams in Div 2, they aren't quite fighting for playoff positioning yet. There is nothing secured in the side of Div 2 Group B. Rather, this is just for a chance to hopefully get better kind of situations going on into those potential top 2 slots, as the Group B has nothing set in stone quite yet. So this, nonetheless, this is a very crucial matchup for both of them, as we are into week 4 of the regular season matchups here. And we're jumping back right into, for the 3rd time tonight, Rainmaker Sturgeon Shipyard.
Oh boy. Yeah, Rainmaker Sturgeon has delivered every single time tonight. And between these 2 teams, I'm sure it'll deliver one more time. The Reef Runners and Hofstra Pride looking to be pretty even on paper, as their only loss has come to the undefeated Splatter Dragons, who have secured their playoff spot already. Hofstra taking 2 games off of them, Reef Runners taking 3. So if it is what it is on paper, these 2 teams should make for a fantastic set.
Now taking a look at these 2 teams, we have the Reef Runners in the teal, and we have Hofstra in the orange. We have a ball point. Wait a minute. Oh no, Hofstra is 3 down right at the start of the match. I think it looks like 3 people died on spinner there. It wasn't even to the Rainmaker pop. I couldn't see what it was.
It was the Charger. The Charger that is currently carrying this Rainmaker all the way to the first checkpoint. Not going to get there quite yet, as it is the Brush making a clutch stop there and finding a second as well. So they're responding well. They let a lot of points slip in that opening push there, but they very importantly secured the checkpoint. And that's going to allow them an opportunity to try to respond now. And if they get the checkpoint first, then the ball's going to be in Cal Poly's court to try to make a play.
Wait, actually, DRF, I don't think the checkpoint actually fell just yet.
Didn't.
I think they just... Oh, it did it. Oh my gosh, I was going to say. Right, it like Hofstra, that was such a crucial stop for them, even after going that 3 down. That could have been so much worse when you have a deficit amount of players down like that. Now we're going to see here Hofstra's Brush on Captain N, looking to get some picks here, securing mid, and off they go to the podium, the same podium that the Reef Runners ran into on their first attempt.
First checkpoint ready to fall, but no! Hofstra finds themselves in the exact same position that Cal Poly did on their first push, right at the base of the checkpoint, not having it fall. Wow, what a stop from both of these teams. Both checkpoints still standing. And this game really might come down to who can secure the checkpoint first.
Right, I mean, these defensive stops have been very crucial, even in really scary situations. I mean, and here oh my gosh, we see the Brush here, Captain N on the side of Hofstra getting a crucial pick on the Rainmaker. 2 go down, 3 go down on the side of Cal Poly, and Hofstra is looking to gain back some of that ground, popping the Rainmaker, popping the Bubbler, and ready to make a push once again.
Jumping that gap, but there are 2 members from the Reef Runners ready to fight this one off. They're able to pick 1 off, but couldn't get the second. Wendell making a nice play there for the Rainmaker, and it looks like they're ready to make it one more time. Hofstra getting a little bit antsy there. The checkpoint right within reach, but they can't force this checkpoint to fall. But they can do it on a wipeout, but they need the members to follow up with it. The Zipcaster, though, is going to slow them down just a little bit, and finally we do see the first checkpoint fall 3 minutes into this game. Hofstra with a lead.
Great distraction there for Hofstra to be able to get the lead. Saint is grabbing the Rainmaker and taking it through the spinner. Oh my gosh, they're still alive, and the bubbler comes in, and there goes Hofstra. Saint is trying to stay alive, and there's Hofstra is gunning it for the Rainmaker podium, but is getting stopped by the sloshing machine because there's no more paint, and they stop it at 1 DRF. Oh my gosh, the fact that the Rainmaker podium wasn't even painted probably just saved Cal Poly from this game.
It really did, but no, Hofstra's not done yet. They're trying to finish the job once and for all, but no, Cal Poly with the wipeout, keeping them in this game.
Now, like you always say, DRF, Cal Poly has to take this Rainmaker coast to coast to get the knockout win, and here they opt to drop it off on the side of the map for a Rainmaker reset. And with 1 minute left to go, taking this Rainmaker coast to coast is going to be quite the impressive feat for Cal Poly of the Reef Runners.
A reset will get it started for them though, but they are just staggering left and right. The Charger is gonna get taken down, and that is a delayed wipe. Hofstra picking up this Rainmaker once again, marching towards the pedestal, trying to knock it out on their 3rd attempt. But they are getting stalled here. Gonna play it a little bit safe. They don't need to force anything because with 1 point remaining, everything is in your favor right now. All you need is a few different trades. You can hold on to the Rainmaker to run out the rest of the timer. There is no rush for Hofstra right now. It is up to the Reef Runners to make a play.
I was just about to say, Hofstra and their game knowledge, this is incredibly smart. They have clock knowledge, they have game knowledge here, and they're utilizing it to a T. 10 seconds left, and they're just gonna hold on to this Rainmaker. But no! The Trizuka coming out of complete left field is giving Cal Poly the chance, but there's no one there. It's just a junior from Hofstra, and never mind, that glimmer of hope that the Trizuka gave not only me, but Cal Poly, a glimmer of hope has suddenly vanished. And with Hofstra Pride taking the first game in resounding fashion, 1-0 against Reef Runners of Cal Poly.
Wow. Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, Sturgeon Rainmaker has delivered every single time tonight, and this certainly was no exception. Reef Runners definitely wishing that that one played out a little bit differently. They had an excellent first half to that game, but it was Hofstra that took a stranglehold in the second half, pushing it all the way to 1 remaining, and the Reef Runners, I don't think, ever possessed the Rainmaker after that.
No, you're absolutely right. The only time they did was when they had to take the Rainmaker and drop it off on the side of the map to initiate that reset there, because I mean they had to get the Rainmaker back over to mid safely and securely without compromising any players or paint advantage that they had to gain back. I mean, just what a great showing. Wow, Hofstra, man, what about momentum?
Oh, absolutely. And it's, as we've seen so far today, Game 1 is really a momentum setter. It has been. It's resulted in 2 sweeps, even though the sets were pretty close between the teams. The losing team on both sides of that just never really found their footing throughout the rest of the set, and Cal Poly is trying to reverse that course for tonight and take game number 2, Splat Zones on Inkblot Art Academy.
Right, I mean, we don't want to see the same song and dance now, but I mean, Hofstra Pride is looking very mighty and very strong right now. I mean, that was just a great showing and great display of just team coordination, game knowledge, understanding of pacing with the Rainmaker. Now we're gonna have to see how that converts into Splat Zone's Inkblot Art Academy. Now, Sloshing Machine here, like we saw in the last match with Frosta from WPI, from Worcester, we better see some Sloshing Machine action in here, because that's going to be pretty key for holding off Plaid and just maintaining some great ground.
Let's go ahead and take a look at these comps. So, ooh, is that Umbrella that's actually coming out here? A brush as well. So these seem like some pretty different comps compared to Game 1.
All right, we see Cal Poly in the orange and Hofstra Pride in the purple now. Yeah, you're right. I mean, different definitely some different compositions, and we see a charger on the side of Cal Poly
Oh.
and Hofstra. Oh my god, the brush! Where did the cape from? Oh my gosh! Wait, what is happening to this lobby?
Oh
Whoa, whoa.
boy. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh boy.
Oh. Let's go ahead and
End the battle
that
right
one.
there.
We have seen enough. Oh boy. I noticed that something was a little bit fishy there when the junior was kind of going back and forth from the overhead camera. So let's go ahead and we will get this fixed up. Yeah, no, there's only 2 people left in the lobby. So
Splatoon be splatooning.
Splatoon be splatooning.
That is all right. All right, so it looks like I'm in conversation with both of the captains right now. Actually, they are opting to they offered to exchange hosts, which might be the best call here.
Yes, that would definitely be the ideal call. So we'll see if they do that. It looks like they're all jumping back into this lobby though. So we will have to see what they ultimately decide on here. I think a host change would be recommended. However, it's certainly not required if they feel like this is just sort of a one-off thing. And since, you know, everybody's kind of DCing, this will not penalize either team for a replay, especially because we're like a whole 5 seconds into the game. So
yeah, that's
okay. Looks like people are coming in and out. All right, there we go. So we will have a host change here. So we'll go ahead and take a quick 2-minute break here as we figure out the lobby situation. So hang tight. Hofstra with an early 1-0 lead. We'll see if Cal Poly can respond in game 2 in just a moment. Welcome back, everybody. So, we have figured out the DC situation here. We have switched up our hosts, and everybody is ready to go into game number 2, once and for all, hopefully this time. Splat Zones on Inkblot Art Academy.
Yeah, God forbid we have any more funky lobby issues going into this. But of course, a replay has been initiated here. No teams have been punished. This was a weird lobby thing. It's fine. So back at it again. The same comps as before, per the rules. We have, let's see. I was trying to point them out, but got distracted earlier. We see the Brella on the side of the Reef runners and a couple other odd weapons here. But right as I say that, the Reef runners go 3 down, make that a full wipeout. Hofstra is geared up and ready to go, DRF.
They really are. They are coming out guns blazing right now. And they are holding the Reef runners all the way back in their spawn. And that's going to be a 3-down situation yet again. The Brella, the last one standing. And take a look at this. It's the Junior that's making these plays right now.
It's the Battle Junior coming alive, but they get a little too greedy here, trying to take on a 3v1 and falling down for it. And I mean, DRF, the clock is already down to almost 30 points at this rate. I mean, Cal Poly's in serious trouble.
Oh, they absolutely are at this stage. They need to get a couple of picks fast, but no, once again, find themselves in a 3-down situation. It is just the Brella coming out of spawn, and the Brella simply just does not have enough paint to make anything happen. This will be a lightning fast game 2. Hofstra taking complete control of this set.
Oof. I mean, they just turned on a switch and they were activated. That was incredible. I'm just trying to think of some things besides saying Battle Junior. I mean, my goodness, Battle Junior it's just like the sloshing machine. They just turned on a switch, it activated, and just ran right into their opponent's spawn. And I mean, man, when you have a Battle Junior coming at you like that and you just have all this pressure, I mean, how can you move?
Yeah, I mean, excellent point there. I mean, you don't expect the Junior to be in that position there. I'm sure that there was definitely some support as well. There should have been an additional member that was up there with them. But the Junior gained the credit from us nonetheless for making quite a few of those plays, putting so much ink down, just constricting the Reef runners into their spawn with nowhere to go. A beautiful lockout job by Hofstra Pride.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we're seeing the same song and dance as we did in the previous 2 matchups we had hosted earlier this evening. We are in a 2-0 situation here, and things are looking grim for Cal Poly as they're heading into tower control and Eeltail. You think about momentum right now, DRF, it's the same story told time and time again here. Cal Poly, they have a lot to brace for heading into this TC map where momentum is the name of the game here.
Absolutely. So they're going to have to find some picks early on, but as we've seen there that in the past couple games, that really isn't the case. So maybe not finding picks necessarily, but they need to play a little bit safer in the opening minute. Because if Hofstra is able to start pushing up and getting those crucial picks, then that's when things are going to start to tumble out of control, as we've seen in both of those previous games. They need to be careful not to overextend, and Hofstra seems a bit eager to make some plays. So let them play into your defenses. That way you can get a couple of picks, get the numbers advantage, and now you can suddenly turn defense into offense.
Punishing the overextension, absolutely right. And this will be crucial in a map like TC Eeltail Alley. We're jumping right into it, folks. Game 3, Hofstra Pride leading the set 2-0. The players are spawning in now. Let's take a look at these loadouts. We see a sloshing machine, a ballpoint on the side of Cal Poly in the pink. And then let's see, Hofstra Pride running this very similar comp. Oh wow, that is a very frontline comp on the side of Hofstra here with the Blaster and Junior.
Other way around, actually. That would be
Excuse
Cal
me, Cal
Poly,
Poly.
yes.
Cal Poly in the green, Hofstra in the pink. We'll repeat that one more time. Hofstra in the pink, Cal Poly in the green.
Yes, and early on, we do see 2 down once again on the side of the Reef runners. Just everything starting to fall apart here, and the machine causing havoc. The first checkpoint is gonna fall with ease, as it always does on Eeltail Alley, because it's like 5 points away from the center of the map.
The Blaster is unfortunate here. The Blaster was all alone in this flat area, trying to take on basically a 3v1 against a Crab Tank and a Trizuka. I mean, the support of your teammates here is kind of crucial right now as we're heading into this second checkpoint already.
Make that the 3rd checkpoint, actually, because the 2nd checkpoint already fell. That's going to be a wipeout, though, finally. Cal Poly getting a little bit of control back in this game.
Cal Poly desperately needing that stop too, because after that final checkpoint on Eeltail Alley, things just start to tumble, and the tower just rolls into that final destination like butter. We see the Booyah coming out here on the side of Cal Poly, taking down 2, make that 3 down on the side of Hofstra. This is Cal Poly's chance that they've been looking for, all set, and this is their moment, but they're being slightly slowed down here as Hofstra starts to spawn back in, and they're now trying to slowly ride this tower to that 2nd checkpoint.
They at least secured the first one, but not able to get much more beyond that. A little bit of a missed opportunity for the Reef runners to capitalize on that 3 down situation. But now they're going to have to go ahead and play some defense once again. Turn defense into offense. That's really going to be the name of the game for them, because they've really struggled in these more neutral positions where Hofstra has just excelled in 1v1 duels and continuing to do so, getting a couple of picks there.
Right, and Hofstra winning these one-on-ones, I think, is something that Cal Poly needs to realize. They need to stop taking the 1v1s, right? They have great teamwork synergy and a great comp for it, but they're not taking advantage of that right now. And because of it, they're going to be continuing to losing these 1v1s and putting them back and back and back, and continue to set up these detrimental points for them. I mean, we already see players going down on each side, so hopefully this exchange will yield something for Cal Poly, but nonetheless, we already see some movement here on the side of Hofstra, and 3 go down for Hofstra.
Make that a delayed wipe. So now Hofstra resumes their march, taking the tower all the way back to where they had left off. A barrage of bombs coming in to try to slow down this tower. Able to do so for just a little bit, but it's Hofstra that continues to win these duels, maintaining the numbers advantage. 3 down once again, hopping back on this tower, inching their way towards expanding their lead. Oh ho ho!
Oh, the Trizuka there. We see, oh my gosh, who is it? It's that the Splattershot player drop down on the side. What a great play there from Cal Poly. No, man, there with the Trizuka taking advantage of being hidden there. I think they were sharking off to the side and waited for the perfect opportunity to strike with that Trizuka, and that certainly saved their teammates a lot of trouble and effort. Now Cal Poly with 3 specials online, activating, ready to go. They are making their way onto that 2nd checkpoint.
Grizzco out once again, able to assist on 1 pick there. 3 down for Hofstra. Can Cal Poly capitalize this time? The machine causing a lot of havoc, making it very difficult. Able to get behind them, actually. So that's going to result in a trade. Cal Poly continues to stumble here a little bit with the numbers advantages. They're going to have to make a play soon at this point, but these jumps coming in just a little bit too risky, and they are going to pay a price for that, as this tower is going to reset back to neutral, and nobody there to help slow down this Hofstra counterattack.
Hofstra really taking advantage of the slow pacing that Cal Poly was taking there, right? I mean, even in a 2 down, 3 down situation, you would expect Cal Poly to be urgently just rushing that tower forward, but they just kind of seem stalled and delayed by the sloshing pressure. Now with 10 seconds left, they have a ways to go, but 2 are down on the side of Hofstra, and they have a Trizuka online, ready to go, but the Crab Tank from Hofstra is trying to slow it down. 3 go down, it's just the Splattershot left, and here comes a Booyah to secure the tower for Hofstra University.
Wow. Cal Poly there started to piece it together. but just weren't able to execute right at the end. Hofstra's 1v1 games are just way too good, and it's continuing to be a problem here for the Reef runners. So now they are facing an 0-3 deficit, the third time we've seen one tonight. Can Cal Poly do the impossible and reverse sweep this?
It's always a possibility. With such a frisky map ahead with Clam Blitz, Mahi, anything can happen, truly. We kind of saw that a little bit in our previous matchup with WPI versus MSU White, but it takes a lot of effort, a lot of coordination, patience. There's so much execution. There's just so much wrapped up into it. And when you're down in this deficit, staring at the face of a 4-0, I mean, all those things kind of just go out the window. And that's something that you cannot let go at this point. There is a lot of work to be done here for our friends at Cal Poly.
Absolutely. And just to reiterate what we had been talking about earlier, with this match, there is quite a bit at stake. Not necessarily a playoff clinching game for either team. However, the winner will be in prime position to secure that second playoff spot in the group alongside the Splatter Dragons of Drexel University. And this win will help immensely. Hofstra, with one game away of putting themselves in that exact position. Everyone else in their group, not quite out of it yet, but it's going to take a wild series of tiebreakers for the rest of these teams to sneak into that spot.
Right, especially since that in this division, Division 2 Group A, the Splatter Dragons clinching that #1 playoff spot for Group A. With that spot secured, essentially the next three are fighting for that last playoff berth, that being the Reef Runners and Hofstra Pride. So again, there was a lot riding at stake here, and Hofstra looking to hopefully gain better positioning here to secure that potential second seed in this division group. We are loading into Clam Blitz Mahi for game number 4, and taking a look at these comps, we see a Charger on the field. That would be very important. Interesting.
Yes, interesting indeed. This is such a tight map. We have seen a number of Chargers on this tonight, but I don't actually know if any of those Chargers have won on this game. We would have to go back and check that. But early on, we do see a power clam coming out from Hofstra Pride. They are looking to make a push fast in the opening 30 seconds here, but they are going to get shut down temporarily. Crab Tank going to come out as well, trying to slow things down. Zipcaster coming in as well. They're going to run right into the Crab and get run over.
Right, that Crab Tank doing the absolute work right now, trying to hold off both fronts that Hofstra is trying to push from. The basket does indeed fall, but only the ball and a handful of clams happen to go in. So unless Cal Poly... Nope, there we go. I was going to say, if anyone was able to sneak past through Cal Poly's defenses for a second there, then there would have been a few more points lost. A great pick there from the sloshing machine, and it looks like Cal Poly is looking to regain some ground with this booyah here.
Able to do so a little bit, but trading players as a result. Finally, a little bit of a numbers advantage, but they're going to go ahead and see that fall apart as now Cal Poly once again in a defensive position here, trying to slow down this very aggressive Hofstra team that has just continued to cause problems for them, like push after push, and continuing once again. They do have the clams to make a push happen here. Can they get to the basket? Yes, they will. So that's going to be the penalty +6, and now they're piling in even more clams. This is going to bring it all the way down to 41 remaining. That is going to be the... sorry, my apologies. Got to drop this down all the way to 41 remaining.
Not only that, but the composition of the field has changed just a little bit with the water levels dropping. So there's a little bit more room to work with if it just so happens to be that Hofstra makes another push onto Cal Poly here. Cal Poly desperately trying to gain back some ground here, but they keep taking these different fights and they keep going down a few at a time. But we're trying to see a little bit of momentum shift here. This crab take leading the charge for Cal Poly, and they finally break the basket. The Brush waited so patiently, though. It takes down Boo, takes down 2 members. 3 go down on the side of Hofstra. Make that a wipeout. Cal Poly is down, and Hofstra is moving in once again. What a great play from Captain N.
A crucial double there, and that's going to be an open window to dive through and get the basket open once more, but that is not even going to be enough to erase the penalty. A delayed wipe, so Cal Poly picking up the clams that are left behind here, gearing up, trying to get back control of mid and getting ready for another push. This machine continues to cause trouble for the Reef runners, trying to throw out a few bombs here, get a couple of quick picks, trying to open things up once again. Once a few more trades going down as well. Crab Tank also trying to get a couple of picks here, but it looks like this is going to be a little pretty even at this stage in terms of this current team fight.
Right. Just constant trades back and forth. However, the Splash is the only one to remain, and a ball just happens to sneak through, but 3 go down anyways, so this push has come to just about an end. No, but the Brush sneaks through and gets a few more clams in, so now the basket is down to just 4 points remaining. That is 2 clams left, and of course the handful needed to break through that punishment. Oh man, that is a devastating push and not what you need right now if you are Cal Poly looking at this deficit. It just grew exponentially.
Their margin of error continues to become less and less. And now it's Hofstra that continues to punish them as well. Trying to gear up for another push. They find themselves 2 down. Cal Poly setting up the defenses once more. Crab Tank trying to clean things up as well. This beautifully placed wave breaker right now also going to make things very, very difficult for Cal Poly to turn defense into offense. They're going to have to just hang back for now, all the way back to underneath their basket. Zipcaster causing a little bit of havoc as well. This is an opportunity for Hofstra to get in. Here comes the jump. Not going to be able to provide much as they do miss the power clam there. So 10 seconds left. Cal Poly needs a power clam to allow this game to go into overtime. They're trying to juggle these clams as quickly as possible. There is the power clam that they need. It's a 2v2. 15 seconds on the clock for Cal Poly to keep this set alive.
Right. Oh, but the player pops the Crab Tank here. Actually, this might be a big mistake. I'm not sure if they're able to utilize the ball here as the overtime clock is winding down. The Crab Tank gets destroyed. They're able to get it to the basket. Think back pops, and there goes the clams. They go flying. 2 down on the side of Hofstra. Make that 3 down. That is a delay in 3 down, people. The clams keep coming. Make that 4 down. That is a delayed wipe, and it's only the Splash fighting for the life of Cal Poly, but they go down in desperation and against a 2v1. And with that being said, this set has come to a close.
Wow. So we are 3 for 3 on sweeps today. Hofstra putting the nail in the coffin for the Reef runners and really putting a damper on their playoff hopes. So Hofstra Pride will jump up to the number 2 position in Division 2 Group A, looking very good for that second playoff spot, but there's still a lot left to be played in this season. But I mean, this Hofstra getting a nice boost off of this sweep.
Right. I mean, what a devastating push at the 1 minute mark there from Hofstra, bringing it down to just 4 points remaining, plus punishment. But that is a lot to come back from, and when you're under that pressure like that, it was such a desperate map mode situation, and wow. I mean, just wow. I mean, Hofstra really showed off their might there, that's for sure.
They really did, and Hofstra has grown so much in just a short amount of time. We had Hofstra play in, I believe they were part of our Booyah Bowl back in January, and I remember that they were kind of just getting things started. You know, it was a little bit rough, I would say, just to, you know, put it simply. Back then, going, I believe they went 2-2, and I think they got knocked out in the first round 0-2 to the Comet Blasters. But I would say that this is a much different team now in just 10 months. The turnaround has been massive for Hofstra Pride, and they're looking to give themselves a nice run into playoffs.
Right, but credit where credit's due to the Reef Runners from Cal Poly. Again, this is a new team coming from Cal Poly, and like many new teams in the CCA league, I mean, my gosh, it's probably like 3/4 of the league is filled with completely new teams. I mean, they still have demonstrated a lot of might and skill in this game. And those losses were nothing to sneeze at either. They still demonstrated some key synergy points and just crucial understanding of pacing of the game that it's really hard to come by when you're starting off as a team and in this league setting. Now we're heading into game 5. This is per CCA tradition. The teams are playing out the rest of the set just as kind of a demonstration of sportsmanship, being able to play the rest of the games just for the sake of playing the games, and just getting a little bit extra practice. That doesn't hurt, right? You already set an hour of your time to play this. Might as well play these games.
Exactly. A best of 7 really only takes an hour, unless you're playing Mincemeat Metalworks. But here we are on Scorch Gorge, Splat Zones. And early on, we are seeing, once again, it is Hofstra that is taking an early lead.
Yeah, getting some crucial picks here early on. I mean, just they're really good at able to do that, right? It's very difficult to kind of set the groundwork for your neutral situation and to get points while also, you know, balancing your opponents and their paint pressure. So you do a really good job with that. The crab tank goes down on the side of Cal Poly, so they have one less special to work with. And the Zipcaster is looking like to cause a little bit of trouble onto Cal Poly. But it looks like the junior is still alive here. Never mind, for as I say that, they go down. And it looks like this is just about a delayed wipe on the side of Cal Poly.
Yeah, and this is, once again, one of those very lockout heavy map modes. So this is going to take a very coordinated team effort in the closing seconds here for Cal Poly to neutralize this zone, but it looks like their focus just isn't quite there. They have too many Hofstra members swarming them in their own base, and that's going to be a quick 100-0 knockout.
Right. I think a lot of teams really, as we've seen tonight, really struggle with the breakout on this map. I mean, like you've said previously, this is akin to Splat Zone's Kelp Dome from Splatoon 1 and 2. I mean, it's just really difficult to break out of because there's only so many entry points for you to go through. I mean, like, where else are you supposed to go? Once you're locked out of there, you just cannot move, and you're susceptible to your opponent's lockout strategy. Truly, it's a tough one to break out of. I'm not envious here.
Yeah, I do think that this map list this week is a little bit of a tough one. You know, as we just continue to get to know the game and the different map mode combos, we can sort of look at this and say, you know, week 4, this really has kind of transpired into a very difficult map list, where knockouts are going to be happening in, I would say, at least half of these games here. Particularly looking at like Splat Zone's Inkblot, very lockout heavy, Tower Control Eel Tail, very lockout heavy, Splat Zone Scorch Gorge, very lockout heavy. Rainmaker Hammerhead, on the other hand, is a little bit more of a slower paced match from what we have seen.
Yeah, at least from what we've seen tonight. I think because of the synonym we made earlier for, like, it's a literal mountain to climb, right? You're literally trying to go up to get to the Rainmaker podium. I think that helps with the pacing and prevents the lockout situations, because you kind of have to take it one level at a time with each ramp. Like, there's only so many entry points that you can go through to carry that Rainmaker. So I mean, I would like to think that it's a little bit easier of a pace of a map, and hopefully we'll see more out of it in other competitive tournaments.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, I really do like Hammerhead Rainmaker, at least from just early on. I'm sure things will, you know, continue to evolve and shift in how we view competitive maps and modes. You know, especially with things like the TO Guild that are in the works and putting out surveys to see exactly what does the community want in map mode combos in their tournaments. So hopefully we get some good variety there, and we will certainly be taking a look at that when those final results are in to dictate how we as the CCA put maps and modes into our tournaments. Of course, we are the CCA though. We don't like to go with exactly what everybody likes.
Right, we have a few unconventional picks. Uh-oh, looks like we have an early DC. I don't know, so let's see if the teams know the rules. There we go. Good call there. I was about to say, did the teams read the rules? Did the teams read the rule book? Did the teams read the syllabus?
Yes, they clearly did. So we'll go ahead and get a quick reset here.
Definitely read the syllabus, folks. No matter what tournament or class you are in, always read the syllabus. Rule book, excuse me. Read the rule book for your tournament. I think
Syllabus, rule book, same
thing. They're synonymous. Yeah, they're synonymous at this point.
Oh boy. So let's see if we can get that last player in. There we go. So everybody is in now. Everybody is here. So let's go ahead and give this another try. So I don't know if Mizuno, if you got a look at the comps there. I guess they should ready up pretty quick here, so we'll get a look at them once more. But was there anything that you had noticed there early on?
No, I just saw the DC.
Honestly, same. Yeah,
I saw the DC and my brain just shut off. Like, yep. Okay, yeah, DC, take two. Anyway, okay, now let's take. Now, okay, whoa, that's some firepower there. We see a sploosh, brush, Elia on the side of Hofstra Pride. I like where this is going, personally. I don't mind it. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and these two comps are actually pretty similar, admittedly. So the brush and the additional shot on the side of Cal Poly being the only big differences. But yeah, very similar comps nonetheless, as we now see Hofstra making an early play once again, trying to deal with this VDS from behind, and that's going to be the first checkpoint that falls. But first checkpoint only at 76 remaining, so there's still quite a bit for Hofstra to push here. But they're going to find 3 down, so this push is definitely not over.
Right, the brush is doing a great job of zoning out some of the players from Cal Poly. Oh, the Rainmaker getting a crucial splat there on Wendell from Cal Poly. And Saint, carrying the Rainmaker, now has a clear path to get the Rainmaker up that ramp here, climbing that mountain. The Trizuka trying to stop the front a little bit, but the Rainmaker finally falls, and now Cal Poly is sitting against 8 points, and DRF, you know what I'm about to say next. They gotta take it coast to coast here.
Yes, definitely one of my favorite phrases to use here in Rainmaker. But yes, they gotta take this one coast to coast, from one pedestal to the other. That is what they are trying to do right now. But there is still a checkpoint in the way, let alone just getting it through mid here. With fire power coming in from all different angles here, that hammer will shut down this Rainmaker, and Hofstra back in the driver's seat, trying to pick this one up and bring it back to the pedestal.
And what a great use of the Zipcaster here. It's such a difficult special, but the Zipcaster trying to come in and create some distraction here. They die for it, unfortunately, but it ends up in their favor because they're able to get some distraction, and the Trizuka failing to get any picks there. Both teams are kind of staggered right now, but we do see Cal Poly utilizing that ink back in hopes of stopping the Rainmaker. But no, they just keep getting called out here by the different players. This sploosh on the Rainmaker is just a big problem here.
And they're going to push that all the way back to 8 points remaining once again. Cal Poly getting the stop here, picking up this Rainmaker once more, trying to figure out what to do with the Rainmaker. Looks like they're going to opt for the reset.
Oh, I was about to say, like, I think they were trying to find out where's the best place to drop it, too, because I think the right side of the map, that's good map awareness, though, and that's something to always keep in mind is, what's the fastest way to drop the Rainmaker if you are in a crucial, desperate situation where you just need to get that Rainmaker heck on out of there? You can't just be kind of sitting there floundering. What if there was a couple of Hofstra players right there? But thankfully, Cal Poly quickly were able to dispose of the Rainmaker. That was a good call there from Cal Poly.
Oh, and look at this sploosh! The sploosh fights too! Trying to get the third, there it is! The sploosh is on a rampage! DKL looking for a fourth, but no, not gonna do it. But they did create a nice path for the Rainmaker to go up. But no, it's gonna be No Man that's able to shut down the Rainmaker. Wendell picking this one up and trying to get this back to mid. Cal Poly should be able to get their first points on the board here. But DKL trying to play a bit of spoiler as well. First checkpoint should be within reach now. If this brush could just be taken down, yes it is. The VDS is the last one standing. That's a delayed wipe. Cal Poly gonna start pushing up now. It's 3 members on the plat. They need to pick up this Rainmaker, but no one is trying to pop it. There we go. Skitty now picking this one up. Wendell gonna pick up the Rainmaker once again, and they are gonna try to bring this one all the way down to 8 points remaining to try and match this Hofstra Stride team.
Right, that little bit of delay there, that like could have been a miscommunication there on the side of Cal Poly in desperation of trying to get some paint on the ground, but them not grabbing the Rainmaker for those 5 to 10 seconds could be crucial in determining how far they were able to take that Rainmaker. All of a sudden now, all that work that they have gained has now been lost. They have been pushed out by Hofstra. Hofstra with the Rainmaker now, 15 seconds left, and the Rainmaker has nowhere to go at this point for Cal Poly, and Hofstra wisely holding it back here to stall out for the final remaining seconds.
Yeah, and honestly, it would have been even better if they actually dropped that Rainmaker, because picking up the Rainmaker in that left court area is just absolutely terrible. So they could have even done that as well to make it even more difficult for some reason if Cal Poly was able to get the pick there. But no worries, as Hofstra is going to take game 6, and they're looking to make a 7-game sweep.
And CCA tradition, of course, off the books.
Yes,
off the books, off the record. But man, I mean, Hofstra Pride, they're looking pretty solid right now, even with these unconventional comps, as you would say, right? With, I mean, how often do you see an Octobrush paired with a Sploosh, a VDS, a custom dually squelchers, and an E-leader? That is very unheard of, but I can greatly appreciate it because that comes to show that they like to experiment and they're willing to do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we're gonna see this one more time on Tower Control Undertow Spillway. Their very aggressive style should work out for them here, especially if they end up bringing back the brush with Zipcaster. That's going to cause so much havoc, being able to reach into the plat of their opposition, because this one, your plat is a little bit more of a safe space usually, as we've seen in the previous 7-game set, where one team just got stuck at 15 remaining. So I really feel like Hofstra style, though, will make it a lot more feasible to tumble this into a knockout. And it's going to be up to Cal Poly to see if they can continue their crucial defensive stops. But once again, it's defense is great, but you need to be able to convert that into a strong push.
What's the saying? Offense is the best defense, right? Because I mean, there's only so much. Or is it the opposite?
I think it's supposed to be the opposite. Defense makes the best offense. I'm not quite sure though, but it's one of those.
Sports analogy. But to your point, dear F, That being, you have to have a balance of both, right? There's only so much that you could do with your defensive hold, with that wall that you're trying to build and hold off your opponent. At some point, you have to convert and find different ways to convert too, right? You can't convert with the same way every time, right? Because otherwise that's predictable. And that could be part of Cal Poly's problem as an inexperienced team, is finding new ways to approach new situations.
With that said, taking a look at these comps, looking a little bit familiar here, Squibkid notably switching over to that blaster and very quickly losing a member, make that 2, and Hofstra now breaking through that first checkpoint merely 20 seconds into this game.
Checks out. But I mean, they're in an awkward position though, because the junior goes down. But they're able to utilize 2 specials now. So if the tower is able to still move even with the junior bubble down, and they do get a couple of picks here. This tower is going to continue to move. A couple people more go down still, so it's not going to be quite as devastating as we've seen in the previous match. And finally, it looks like all the Hofstra players have been exterminated from the area.
But the damage has already been done though, with 2 checkpoints falling. Admittedly, those 2 checkpoints aren't terribly difficult to get a hold of, but it's 2 checkpoints nonetheless. But now it's going to be Cal Poly that finds themselves at a 2-person advantage. Suddenly going to get shut down though by a splat bomb that came out of nowhere. This first checkpoint not even going to fall for Cal Poly at this stage. At the very least, I think they're in a position to try to force the checkpoint at least, and that should open the gates for them in a future push.
Right. I mean, if that's all that matters at this stage of the game, right? Sometimes there is a point where you're able to get that checkpoint, even if it means sacrificing a little bit of paint advantage and coverage, or sacrificing, man coverage and man advantage. And that could be the case for Cal Poly, where they struggled all night to gain that advantage, that checkpoint advantage. I think at this point it would be worth to actually commit to that and potentially lose out on paint coverage, paint position, or man advantage.
And now Cal Poly trying to break through this checkpoint once more, finally able to do so. They had a little bit of a numbers advantage there, but now going to be forced to back off as they see themselves as a staggered 3 down. So Hofstra grabbing control of this tower, but Cal Poly was able to break through that first checkpoint, which is an excellent start. That's exactly what you need to do, is take it bit by bit in a response here to try to get this lead following a massive Hofstra push, and they're continuing to find some great picks here, and hopefully this will convert into offense now.
That was some great picks, and I think they found a bit of a groove here. I could tell in the way that they responded to that push. They knew so. Oh no! But the devastating. Oh my god! I think that was a splat bomb onto the splash wall there. They got too clustered up. I was just about to say, what Cal Poly did so well in that defensive stop was that they were working together, succinctly moving as one unit to sniff out the rest of the Hofstra players, but they were still just a little bit too clumped up together, and they literally fell to a splat bomb splash wall situation. That is devastating. That hurts my soul.
Oh yeah, no, that's gotta hurt indeed. But now they find themselves back in a relatively neutral state here. Tower going back to mid, and this is now another opportunity to try to get a couple of picks, because we've seen Cal Poly doing a lot better winning these 1v1s now, utilizing some great positioning here to get a couple of good picks. There's the numbers advantage once more, but of course Hofstra is so good at dueling, and they have continued to neutralize every numbers advantage that Cal Poly has seen.
That's a great way of putting it, neutralizing and just taking down members of Cal Poly. I mean, look at this rampage that's going on by the Battle Junior here. The Battle Junior has returned to form. I mean, my gosh, that pressure is just so insane when someone is able to move and just dodge around you like that. And now we're back to what we're used to seeing with Hofstra in the driver's seat, with a Booyah Bomb and a crab tank coming out as the tower just quickly rolls on over to that final checkpoint.
final checkpoint indeed, as it's the Crab Tank trying to put together a defensive stop here, but it looks like it's not going to be any good, and it's going to be Hofstra riding the tower to victory.
And man, what a great way to finish that set. Hofstra off the books, taking Cal Poly 7-0, but in the books officially in CCA record, a 4-0 sweep, which is going to help them greatly as they're looking to clinch a potential playoff spot in Division 3. Man, what a great set.
Yeah, I mean, a fantastic set, especially for Hofstra, as I'm going to be honest, I came into the set thinking that this was going to be close. It was going to be close between these two teams, you know, possibly looking into a decisive Game 6 or even Game 7. But Hofstra very quickly put those ideas to rest by dismantling the Reef Runners and winning it in 4. So, and I mean, even going through the rest of these games as well, a clean, friendly 7-game sweep. So phenomenal job by Hofstra Pride, definitely showing up big time here, and they are looking very good in the playoff picture right now. Reef Runners not quite out of it yet, but it is going to definitely take a series of conditions and tiebreakers in order for them to sneak into that spot and steal it away from Hofstra.
Right. I mean, credit where credit's due, again, to both of these teams. I mean, Cal Poly has so many of these teams, like Cal Poly, are so new and they show so much potential. They brought so much excitement to this set, and I mean, they have a lot to learn, like every team in the CCA league, and I think they found some great opponents here in Hofstra to learn from. And I think this was just a great showing from not only Hofstra, but from Cal Poly to represent. GG's to both teams.
GG's indeed. So it's going to be Hofstra that moves up to 2-1 on the season. The Reef Runners going to be dropping to 2-2. So Hofstra still has to make up a game from week 1 that really can shake up this playoff picture against the Deep Sea Miners, who, despite being 0-2, have been pretty consistent in taking games off of some of these top teams. So that's going to definitely be one to watch, as the Deep Sea Miners are also still playoff eligible, barring how these last set of games go. So anything really can happen at this stage in Division 2, particularly in Group A. But Group B has been just as interesting, to be fair.
Right. I mean, we have some CCA how would I say it? Like CCA, like returners in the Carne Inksada Fries from SDSU. We also have Squids. I believe Squids at Cal have participated in one of our events before.
Yes,
correct
the
me if
Booyah
I'm
Bowl.
wrong. It's the Booyah Bowl. See, some of these teams, they come back, right? There's a little bit more, you know, like the people return, people come back for these things. It's great to see. So Group B has a great couple of returners here that are just vying for a playoff spot here. Carne Inksada Fries tied for first with Vermilion Tides. I believe Vermilion Tides is from, looking at the spreadsheet now, if I can find them. University
of Louisiana Lafayette. So that is a matchup that I certainly would love to see on the CCA stream. We'll have to keep an eye out for that one because that is a rescheduled match. So circle that one though, folks, because you will not want to miss it. So I'm really hopeful that we can be able to broadcast that one. A battle of undefeated teams still in Group B of Division 2. So we'll have to definitely keep an eye out for that. And it looks like, though, we do have the Hofstra team on standby. So let's actually go ahead and bring them on in and for a little bit of a chat to get to know this team that just swept their way through the Reef Runners of Cal Poly.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Hofstra University.
Hello there. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Honestly, pretty excited. I'm like very, very happy.
First, I can trade.
I am sure that there was a lot of excitement here. We have a couple of questions for you guys. So first of all, what I want to know is coming into this set. How are you guys feeling? Kind of looking at the Reef runners. Were you guys coming in as confident as you appeared on stream? What's the story behind that?
Well, I mean, yeah, no, we decided, you know what, because last week we had also a very exciting match as well, where we had pretty much the same results as we had this week. So it was just a whole collective effort of just keeping up the confidence, the pump, and the excitement, especially for us that we reformed our team. So what you see right now is pretty much like a brand new team for us Hofstra. So we just kept it up, and we're like, listen, we know what we can do. We are capable. We have amazing players, an amazing coach that helps us here and there, and we're just gonna go with everything we got. And it's just having confidence, not only me as a captain having the confidence in all my teammates, but also all my teammates having enough trust in me to just let me, be the one saying, hey, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna move here, do this, do there. This is what the weapons we're gonna use, etc. So yeah, we had no expectations from the other team. We heard amazing things from them. We heard that they were also super close of beating our the team that we played first, and we were pretty much expecting, they're gonna be a team just as good as we are. So just giving everything we got.
That is
I definitely
awesome.
looked at the results ahead of time and figured they were probably at a similar level to us, so that's what we prepared for.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense because on paper, we were going into this saying that this was going to be definitely a one to watch. But you guys really played with such confidence that you guys made it look really easy suddenly. So I mean, see, Mizuno, what else do you have for them?
So we were talking on stream a bit. You guys have a CCA history, of course. Most of the league is currently comprised of, I would say 3/4 of it, of very new teams that haven't really played competitively together before. However, you guys have CCA history. You guys participated in our Booyah Bowl event. So maybe could you guys elaborate a bit on how you guys have grown or changed from your time from the Booyah Bowl up into now in the CCA League Season 2?
Yeah, definitely.
Boy.
It's a loaded question, I get it.
That's a story and a half. Personally, I think that the most important change throughout all of this is that we definitely shift the meta quite a bit. Okay, I'm joking.
No, definitely. I feel that from the Booyah Bowl to here, at the Booyah Bowl, we were at a point where it was the ending of Splatoon 2, kinda. We were at the dawn of Splatoon 2. We were just trying. Honestly, at the Booyah Bowl, we were just trying to just play it, get experience, because we had an issue with that team that we were very afraid of having scenic presence, playing in tournaments, being watched by people. We were always super nervous and super self-conscious about us playing for an audience, because it's pretty it's no different from let's say playing league battles, but then when you know that you have someone watching you, your friends, your family, or people on Twitch, it's just oh boy, I need to it's a performance, so you have to put on your best self to play. And from that team to this team, I just we just had a whole new change, not only in the meta, not only in the video game itself, but also we got amazing new people coming in. Some friends from the past and the present are coming in, and they're joining our team. We're discovering new talents, and we're just working with better synergy and with people that honestly understand each other pretty well. So I definitely feel that the biggest growth spurt that we had from the team that participated in Booyah Bowl to the team today is that all of us understand each other, all of us can rely on each other, and even though if we're losing or anything like that, we are able to just bring ourselves together, and even if we lose, at least we lose as a team and we don't point fingers at each other. And I feel that's like really important for a team to to be able to work together.
Staying calm under pressure is definitely the biggest change I'd say we have overall. Also, we've expanded as our portion of our esports club very much as well, have a lot more members practicing with us, more of a structure, and like members competing with us, members practicing, and those giving advice and taking on a more, I mean, for me personally, I've kind of changed roles kind of from Plague to taking on more of like a managerial and advice giving role, and I feel it's really helped us like paving way with the new guard coming in and everyone figuring out like what roles on the team and what positions work best for them, and definitely a lot of growth.
Mm-hmm.
As for how the field role affected this effect, I would say the most impactful thing that it's done is reduce or negate stage break. The first time utility and I expect that a lot of the teams are expect seeing this event where there's I expect a lot of not just us, but the group, but those participating. Which I think is
Awesome. No, that's always it's always good to hear about that, especially how this team really has kind of transformed before our eyes, at least. We've had you guys in a few different events, and it's so awesome just to see the evolution across 10 months here. So I think one thing that we've also discussed quite a bit in the commentary booth today is the types of comps that you guys were running. You guys were definitely pretty versatile in your comps. Especially we're looking at like splat zones on Inkblot Art Academy, and correct me on the pronunciation here, but is it Saichi?
It's Psyche.
Psyche, got it. So yeah, one thing that we were talking about is like with Psyche, like you play a very aggressive junior. And it definitely caught us off guard, but you were on the plat. I believe you're working with DKL. The two of you guys were putting such a presence on their plat there and made it impossible for Cal Poly to even sniff the zone once you had a stranglehold on that. What goes into some of your guys' comps, because we definitely were always taken aback by how versatile you guys are.
My son.
I think basically what happened with the comps would be mostly since I play a variety of weapons and I'm like at least pretty, I'd say, decent at most of them. I just base like whatever they need, I just play, and then everyone revolves the comp around there. And then after that we just become like kind of unpredictable in the ways that we like show up for most of the games itself.
Yeah, no, and like Stevie, Psyche is also like it's like kind of like our trump card this semester, because at least for me, like I was like during our scrim session, I said, hey, because I'm usually the one who plays junior whenever we need an aggressive junior, and I was like, hey, like do you want to try junior? Let's try it together and let's play some matches together. And like this kid like baffled me. I was like, god damn, like that's amazing junior right there. So yeah, no, but like most of the comp building goes towards like now with the versatility that we have with Psyche, but also like we have a very reliable backline that has been with us since like the beginning, which is Saint. She's always there, like either with her heavy or with her duty squelchers. Like we just know we can rely on her always. And then like Captain N and I are always like the like the aggros of the team. But yeah, no, like I said, like I'm as equally as surprised as you are with the versatility of these comps. But I can just say, hey, like let's play this. Stevie, can you play this? And he's just like, yeah, sure. And then just go do it. And I'm like, okay, man, like that's an understatement that he's decent at like all these weapons. I definitely believe that.
Yeah, I'd also like to say that Psyche is also the newest member of our team, and during our tryouts this semester, he completely blew us away.
when it comes to team comp, a lot of it goes not just weapons we want to play and the weapons that bounce off of each other and styles, but also a bit of what is really going on in the meta. So it's not like we don't pay attention to what's going on in the meta. For instance, the sausage things like the sausage machine and the crab cake have a big presence in the meta, which is why, say, Hale has started doing the sausage machine, and even I had to pull out the Splash-O-Matic. So there are a lot of factors that go into making it up, especially with our context children.
Absolutely. Because like from Splatoon 2, like we had all these weapons, and I was a Sploosh main in Splatoon 2, and then like main in Splatoon, like Sploosh in Splat 3 is like nearly impossible because of like the meta right now. So like it's kinda that. Like I still play. I think I whipped out Sploosh like twice tonight because I was like, yeah, no, like let's try it. Why not? Because Hammer was fixed, so
Yeah, you did in the friendlies portion.
yeah. So with a reliable special now, it's like easier to pull, but like still, yeah, like I definitely it revolves around what our teammates can play and what is going on in the meta right now.
For sure. I mean, that versatility, though, is going to come in clutch going forward because, I mean, the meta is constantly changing and evolving in a new game. Now, that being said, we have one more question before we wrap up the CCA triple header. As you guys have been around now, it's been what, 10 months-ish or so, about a year. How have you guys been balancing your school obligations and other commitments and competitive Splatoon? Maybe you guys could elaborate on your personal experiences kind of balancing this duality.
Ooh. Well, this we just figured out a system. Like it was all trial and error ever since we started the team at our university. But what we usually do is that for everybody who is interested, we ask them, hey, are you interested in joining the team? Do you want to play casual? Do you want to play competitive? We have like a whole Google questionnaire for that, and then we collectively decide what days can everybody come and practice. And so we have practices destined for like during the weekends for like the two teams that we have currently like under training, the team that played tonight, and then another team on development for like later on for other opportunities in other tournaments. And I mean, at least from my experience, I'm committed to the team ever since we created it. I'm really thankful for like being the captain, because like I mean at least on the aggressive part, like like the in-game part, because then he's our bureaucrat. But yeah, no, like I just try my best to always be there, like support everybody and just like be in practice. So like at least for me, even though like I'm really busy with school, like I'm currently a senior, like I still just try my best to be there, because like I believe that like as long as you have like someone there who's always trying to show up and encouraging and remembering everybody, then other people will get motivated to join. And once you collectively make a decision on like when to meet and whatever, then like it just goes from there. But we have like all our members are busy, and like sometimes practice, it's not feasible, but we try our best we can. And for me, like if I can make it, it's because I'm dying or something. Like
yeah, we definitely try. We definitely have a lot of availability for Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays are when we meet. We love everyone to be there if we can, but school and life just in general comes first. And if people can't make it, thankfully we have enough people in the Splatoon section of our club that we always have people available to play. Sometimes we got to work with who we got, but it's been working really well. About a year and a half ago now, when this first founded after a few failed attempts, I just can't believe that we've actually come this far and are here now talking after a win on a competitive set. That's like a dream come true for me, honestly.
I can say the same. On this, what I would want to add is that just like I guess our team, a lot of what used to juggle, say Splatoon and being in college and university, would be versatility. Like say, I've been mentioned that we generally paid, and we do try to move on practice production for not large field, but we still leave enough wiggle room to say have extra. or he's thinking with the practice if something there's no. And I feel like, especially moving forward, that kind of flexibility and versatility might not only attract us as a team, but also allow us to at a pace that we are satisfied.
I mean, yeah, I mean, just balancing all this stuff is always so difficult, and it goes a long way when you're all able to put in such a great effort. So I appreciate you guys sharing your own experiences with that. That being said, though, I think we're just about at time for the interview with you all. So Hofstra Pride, Hofstra University, thank you all so much for joining us in our impromptu interview session for today. We greatly appreciate it, and congrats on your 4-0 sweep against Cal Poly.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Of course.
Yes, we look forward to seeing the rest of your matches coming up. So hopefully we'll be able to catch another one of those. I know you guys have 2 more matches to go. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for you guys. You guys are looking great in the playoff picture. So good luck with the rest of the season, and we'll see what happens from there.
Let's go, baby.
Thank you so much.
I hope to keep both our energy and our power.
Oh my
Thank you very
god.
much. Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, get out. Out you go. We got to segue on out of here.
Yes, we do. So, oh man, what a fantastic triple header that we've had today, Mizuno. It was 3 sweeps in a row, but I feel like, you know, these were still some very competitive sets. So congratulations to our respective winners today: the Husky Splatsville Knights in Division 1, the Grizzco Workers Union in Division 3, and Hofstra Pride just coming off of a fresh victory against the Reef Runners in Division 2.
Yes, these were all some great entertaining matches, and huge credit goes to the opponents of these winners: MSU, Splatoon, and their JV team, MSU White, and of course the Reef Runners from Cal Poly. And not to mention the interviews. I think hearing some of their perspectives as collegiate players was really revealing, and it was great to hear some of their thoughts and ideas, perspectives about how they approach competitive Splatoon. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, awesome. I think this is something that we can hopefully keep going in future doubles and triple headers. So we'll have to kind of take that to the workbench and hopefully make this a bit of a staple, because I've enjoyed this additional segment we've had today.
Right, exactly. All right, DRF, where can the good folks find you?
You can go ahead and find me on Twitter at DRF_Splatoon and on Twitch at TritonDRF. Mizuno, how about yourself?
Everyone, you all can find me on both Twitter and Twitch, MIZU_N0. And DRF, I think that just about does it for our triple header for the night.
It does. Thank you all so much for joining us on this crazy 3.5 hour journey. I think we're approaching 4 hours now as well. So that is going to do it. Mizuno and I are going to check out for the evening. Thank you all so much for sticking with us here at the CCA League. Things are going to be getting spicier as we head into week 5 tomorrow. A lot of crucial matchups coming up and playoff positioning at stake. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next week.